people of the internet, welcome to a very special episode of the AGT Podcast. We're live, we have faces, and we're talking about E3. I'm your host for this evening. My name is Ty, of course. You may know me as such amazing videos as this podcast just a few weeks ago, or even my amazing videos such as my new show that's coming out, and the Subnautica videos and more. But this isn't about me, this is about the amazing people that I have with me. So, if you would like to introduce yourselves, lovely people.
Hi, I'm up here in the top left corner. I'm Eliza. You might have caught me on Monday with the stream that I did. I also stream on my Twitch channel, and I've got a few videos coming out on the YouTube channel. I also did the ARAM interrogations with Jess W that I know quite a lot of you have enjoyed. I'll let someone else speak now. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Jack. Some of you may know me from the hit show Pokemon Retrospective. Yeah, and I am so happy to be here, finally, after wanting to be on the podcast for as long as I've worked at the company.
Who else, Jord?
Oh, yeah.
Yourself?
100%, yeah. I'm Jordan. I did a bit of casting for E3. I had a lovely time. It was lovely to interact with you. And no, we're back at it again. So, yeah, let's get into it. Harry, Brooke.
I guess I'll go. I was being patient. Hi, my name's Brooke, and I work for Adamo as well. I've been on the last, I think it was the weekend just gone, on the two E3 streams, and I was just filling in at the end, but I loved it, and I'm back again. So yeah.
Last but not least, Harry.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name's Harry. I'm a content creator at Adamo Gaming. I'm in the bottom left. Don't have my avatar just now, but it will be coming soon. You'll see my face shortly. No videos that I can accredit to myself just yet, but you can expect them coming very soon. I promise you.
Sweet.
I love that. Yeah, so
Teased,
welcome
love
everybody.
it.
We've got a nice little range here of VTubers, avatars, and beautiful faces. But this episode of the AGT Podcast is all about E3. So we're going to be talking through all of the showcases, who's won E3, our favourite games, and more. So I'm going to take it over to Jordan, because he has known a lot about Guerrilla Collective, who were first in the E3 this year.
100%, yeah. Well, I mean, we were just talking about this before we came on. In my opinion, the winner for E3 was definitely the indie game area of the industry. With amazing games, like Bullets Per Minute, which, if you saw the streams for Guerrilla Collective, me and Eliza and Jess were, fell in love with the game immediately. And if you don't know what Bullets Per Minute is, it is essentially a weird cross between The Binding of Isaac, Doom, and Beat Saber. It's a rhythm-based shooter, and it's so interesting.
I didn't know it was rhythm-based.
It was rhythm-based, yeah.
Yep.
So all the stuff like, your reloads need to be timed. Obviously, you can't shoot your bullet if it's not on beat, and stuff like that. So it's really, really interesting. Like if you it basically it works on runs essentially.
Even jumping, if I remember correctly, right? I played it a little bit, and I think even jumping.
Mm-hmm,
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. So it's you've really got to get your head around it. But like obviously you start with a pistol essentially on your run, and let's say you're doing good so far, and you get yourself into the armory, and you upgrade to the shotgun. The shotgun is a bit more of a more complex weapon by nature. So instead of just reloading, with R, on your keyboard, there's a lot more moving parts. So like obviously you've got to cock the gun, you've got to put the bullet in,
Wow.
and that all of
it is on beat. It's so satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
As the resident rhythm gamer here, it is so unbelievably satisfying. It's like Crypt of the Necrodancer, but better in some ways.
And this is out now.
It is out now.
It's out.
We've been playing it, yeah.
I tell you what, I've mentioned this to a few people before E3 started. I love it when companies do that, where they're like, hey, you've never known about this game before, but now you can go and play it. That's so sick.
it honestly, it came out of nowhere, and I was so surprised to see it because it immediately captivated me. With and we were talking about it on the stream that I could see this actually being used in schools for musical education. So obviously for ear training.
Yeah.
I come from a musical background anyway, so training your ears to interpret sounds and understand like chords and stuff and chord progressions. It can be very, very difficult, but to understand stuff on beat and different levels when you
Right.
like progress, the music changes, so the tempo changes. So you might have got used to your first run essentially, and you do that first, but obviously there's like multiple rooms and multiple areas you need to go through. So you move on to the next area, the music changes. So
So
you've
you
like
got to change all the beats.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So the beat
Oh, what?
changes. So you've got to do like I ended up having to like hum it in my head, essentially. So I got very used to the music.
I was tapping my knee.
Hmm.
Oh, I want to get this game right now.
It's good. It's bullets per minute. It's
That
amazing.
sounds really sick.
And as well as that, I was humming. I was tapping my feet because I used to be a drummer. So I'm beating them out as if I was like on my bass, on my kick drum. So yeah, it's such a good game, and I highly recommend it. It is, in my opinion, one of the best games that was shown at E3 by far.
One of
So
the
they got
best
the
ones that
point.
we've been able to play so far, at the very least. I'm super hyped for some of the games that came out in Wholesome Direct, but we'll get onto that later.
Hmm.
What was there many in the Guerrilla Collective that they just said like you can play now, or was that like one of the only ones?
There were a few. I don't think
Mm.
many of the ones that are already out I added to my wish list, actually, just bullets per minute. But one of the more interesting indie games that came out that looked fun to me was Starmancer. And this is kind of a top-down, it seems like a kind of strategy game. You build up kind of this base as you... It's kind of like, how would I say... A bit like Plants vs Zombies, maybe. Maybe that's a bad way to put
Like
it.
the first one.
Yeah.
It was like the actual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you build up your base and you build up tech and stuff. Like there's all kinds of resources that you need to keep on track of, such as like food, zombies, sabotage, and you've got to kind of keep all your humans alive. And that looked really interesting to me.
Oh, I might. I only saw a couple. Especially with like the couple of first showcases and stuff. But there was one that I found. I'm a sucker for like very particular art styles in games, and Endling was one.
Yeah.
And it's essentially just about like the end of the world and like it's something to do with a fox. But it was just like a reveal trailer. But already I'm like hooked. I was like, I want to know more. And I already know for a fact I'm just gonna be emotional playing that game because you can just tell from that minute and 20 seconds, however long that trailer was, that it's not going to end well.
Oh, that was the one
you're
with the
there to
fox,
feel
right?
stuff. Yeah.
The
and it's
Extinction
like
is Forever one.
Yes. That one caught my eye when I was like looking through and like wondering what sort of styles and potentially games I want to add to my wish list.
I feel like that's the kind of game that'll hurt my feelings. I feel
The best
that
kind though.
the one that will make you sad.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a sign of good game design and good writing that a game can actually properly move you. Emotively. It's such a great thing. But yeah, just going off that, what you said, Ty, so I am a sucker for art styles more than anything. And I love cell shading. Cell shading because because classic like old school cell shading that you used to see in like animes and stuff. That that just tingles my brain. I just love it. And there was a lot of games that I saw that did follow that similar sort of art style.
It almost like brings you back, doesn't it, to like this whole sort of like memories that you've built on it. It's like you sort of relate it to that. But I wanted to ask, because you've kind of just mentioned that point, is do you think now, especially because of like over the handful of years, I mean, like let's take Among Us for example, right?
Among Us.
That was released for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it blew up. But it was only a small team, wasn't it? Do you think now that sort of looking at the entirety of E3 and obviously your bullets per minute sort of game, do you think that indie games have more of a weight to them than like the AAA games that are being shown?
Yeah, no, I'll take this point. 100%. It was a point that I mentioned on the stream actually, is that like I had a feeling when we did Guerrilla Collective and Wholesome Direct that things were going a lot better for indie in general, because an indie game, I think, is where the heart of gaming is now. That's where the real heart and lifeblood is.
Right.
Because with there's too much issue. You see too many issues now with AAA games. Because an indie game puts in the amount of effort you used to see in the early 2000s. There's just so much more love and polish in these games. In comparison to AAA games. I mean, everyone knows the issue that came up with, Cyberpunk 2077. That game is dreadful, and that's a AAA game that had a massive budget from a massive studio that has this really good rep, and yet, it went disastrously wrong. There's too much obsession with profit over quality anymore,
And deadlines.
and deadlines and just meeting shareholders and demands and stuff like that. It's just wrong. There's no love for the product anymore, but you don't see that with indie games. Indie games really care about producing something worthwhile. And I think there's too much in the gaming industry now, and I've said it 1,000 times, that it's just more about profit than producing a good quality product.
Yeah.
But you don't. Indie is where it's at.
For me, I think for me it's like, with these AAA games, you often see like it's just sequels upon sequels upon sequels, and you never get to see anything new really. Like it's like, oh, right, great, another Battlefield game. I know everyone's really hyped for Battlefield. I'm super hyped for Battlefield myself, but it's like we've had this before. There's like nothing new really. Like in the trailer, like everyone's hyped that they're going backwards. It's like, great, they did the rendezvous in the trailer. Everyone was super hyped for that. Like, I was hyped when I saw that in Battlefield 3 years and years and years ago. But with these indie games, you're seeing all kinds of new stuff. Like, as we've seen, as you've all watched, these indie games are all new, and the love that goes into them is visible because they haven't had the monetary success before. They're risking their daily lives and incomes to create these games of passion, and they don't know whether it's going to succeed. They don't have the financial backing or advertising that these companies do, and you can really see that.
We're also exactly that, and we're also in a new era where microtransactions have been proven to be the model for the biggest profit margin possible with a company. And from the successes that have happened with it over the past, couple years, the model has been proven to be successful. That is a proven model that at this point in time, they're going to keep chasing the bag, essentially. So,
yeah, it's true.
Notice none of that was even mentioned at any of like the conferences this year. They didn't mention microtransactions, even though it's like an unwritten rule at this point that if you've got a big AAA coming out, you're gonna get microtransactions at some point.
Yeah, you got it works, but I hate it.
It's a real shame. I mean, DLC at its heart is a choice. You pay 50, 60 quid for a game, $60 in America, and you pay for that, and obviously you have the product, right? But DLC is a choice. But when you have a game like COD, like Battlefield, that has integrated, micro transactions as a key element in the game. Advanced Warfare is always the example that I always see. You would have people spending hundreds upon hundreds just to get this one variant that had slightly better stats.
People made YouTube content for that. That was a massive thing. Opening
opening the boxes, I remember.
Yeah. See, I remember. I used to watch them. It was FIFA packs are a great example. But I used to watch T Martin do like it's like his box openings and stuff like that, and it was just mad, and and he was searching for this one variant. I think he ended up spending like $600, $700 just looking for like the Inferno, variant of like this one gun, and it was just daft. And
So I don't know anything about it. Was it just like, are these just skins, or do they have like some
No,
sort
they
of...
had like damage and accuracy
they had
bonuses.
massive
wow.
effects.
This is when it was
Yeah,
at its worst.
because Advanced Warfare was like, I was just complete. I didn't even bother with any of those ones.
Yeah,
Like,
Only
it's-
recently
pay to
I was
win.
looking for Call of Duty.
It was definitely a pay to win.
Mhm.
You saw
Pay to win.
saw
Horrible.
you saw people, with the ASM1 and running around with its biggest variant, and the same thing with like the Inferno variants of other guns. It was just daft. It was honestly daft.
Yeah.
People hunting for these guns,
It,
and
it makes you realise how much you miss the good old days of gaming.
exactly.
Just
Mhm.
there's a game, there it is, play it, have fun. That's it.
And
Nothing else.
indie games bring that feeling to me. That's why I love
Exactly.
them.
Oh yeah.
And
I
they're
think-
new as well. It's like, who's this? Someone new.
I think the one game I had, like, regarding indie games, I sat there and had a great time. The Tourist. It's quite an old. It's not new, but it's not old at this point. Came out on Game Pass. I'll get into Game Pass later and how amazing that's going at the moment.
Absolutely.
But the Tourist, it's just a cute little indie game. Like this guy who he's just a tourist and he's just going to different islands and having
Is
an
it-
adventure. And
Is
it's
it like
really,
a walking
really cute.
simulator?
No, it's a 3D 8-bit game. Well, not 8-bit.
Oh,
It's got that vibe. It's got the 8-bit
Oh,
vibe
yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
like pixely.
Yeah, but it's like completely 3D, open world essentially, like little open world maps. But it's really just, it's such a nice little game, and I sat there and played it for like, it's not a long game, took 2 nights, and I was just having a great time playing it.
As simple as the word "nice" is, I think that it's such a great way.
No,
to
exactly.
to say these
Yeah.
indie games, because that's what they're all
Exactly.
like.
It's
And
nice.
if you're playing like FPSs and stuff, it's not always nice,
No,
but
Like-
yeah,
one that was shown this year, I think it's called Lake, and you're just playing as a post, like a
yeah, I've just saw
postie.
that.
You're just playing as a postie, like in the 80s, and I'm like, yes, although I will
Yeah,
be
but
playing
the
that.
style,
That sounds
the style
funny.
of that looks really like warm.
Yeah, I'll be playing. It's just, you're just wandering about, delivering the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, chatting to
It's-
people. How
It's great.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mhm.
Indie games allows you to sort of like, because when it comes to sort of like AAA games and like the games that we would want to imagine for like the best game of all time, like a lot of people are going to go in the same route, but then a bunch of indie games come out of nowhere and it's like, wow, I did not expect that, or like combine these sort of two things together. I think there was one where it was like 2D side scroller, but it was like 3D models, and then it had like an extra sort of art style on top of that. I'll have to try and find the name of it, but like even just from looking how that looks, it's already like engaging me. And I'm not really the biggest fan of like 8-bit sort of style.
The point you mentioned there about the expect is a very big part in the whole indie scene's like success, because when it comes to AAA, especially nowadays with like the gaming market is explosive and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, there is the expectation around AAA titles to be good. I mean, Cyberpunk, great example, all the
Yeah.
hype in the world for it, and
Rest in peace.
ultimately led to its demise, and
Absolutely.
that's the thing with the indie game scene, is that you may not expect it might come out of nowhere, and that's perfect because you haven't built up this unrealistic image of 10 out of 10, or it's going to have this game mechanic. You just play it and you're like, that was fun, I'm glad I did that.
Mhm.
As
And they're
well as
often
that, there
affordable.
is- Yeah, well, exactly, and that's because they don't need to have these big profit margins. They can do so much with the little resources a lot of companies have, and you tend to see so much more innovation because of that in indie games. Because as I said, that's where the heart is. That's where there's so many games now. You see FIFA. I mean, FIFA is literally the same game over and over and over and over and over again every single year.
Yeah.
There is so little innovation.
Don't let the people
Yeah.
who play it catch you saying that.
They will fight you,
Fuck.
and they will find you.
You know what? They can flame me as much as I'll flame them back. It's a
They will,
terrible game.
they will find
How
you.
do you play that? They should
Yeah.
turn it into a free to play game and update it every year. Simple.
Oh,
Then that's where you can
But
have
where's
your
the money
microtransactions.
coming from?
Microtransactions. People will still buy the packs. Simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll always buy the packs.
They will make more money off that than they ever would making these new new
Mhm.
games every single year.
But you could say the
Just
same
makes it-
excuse for like Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed. We'd
Yeah.
actually, speaking of Assassin's Creed, that's it used to be a yearly franchise, and we haven't heard anything this year apart from the DLC. So that's kind of a nice change of pace for that whole
I have a lot to
series.
say about Assassin's Creed when we reach Ubisoft.
Oh,
sort of
don't get me wrong,
showcase.
I've got a lot to say about Assassin's Creed too, but it was nice to see that they're not churning out a game a year anymore.
We got a question in the chat a little while ago. What's your favorite announcements from E3? I'd like to hear that too. See what you guys are all up to.
Xbox fridge.
Xbox fridge.
Xbox
Oh my
fridge-
god,
Xbox
true.
Fridge is a shout.
Xbox fridge.
Yeah, gotta love
Meta
it.
becomes meta.
The Xbox fridge.
Do you know what? Pokefan will definitely appreciate it. It's for me, it was a mixture of Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Dread. Just to have a Metroid game, coming in the very, very near future, just to play another Metroid game after so long. Yeah, I just can't wait.
Well, I
Mine's
thought you
kinda
said
cheating.
Metro for a while, and I was hyped for a moment too.
Yeah.
But then you said Metroid, and I was
Well,
thinking, oh wait, it's
yeah.
going to be a side scroller. I suck at those.
That's also that I mean, but I love the fact that they've gone back to their roots with like the classic side scrolly, elements. It's just so nice, so nice. Can't wait.
Hmm.
Anything from you, Ty?
Yeah, mine's kind of cheating. Mine was just the actual release date now for 12 minutes. I've been waiting for that
Oh,
for 2
dude,
years.
Really?
And
what a cast!
I know. But it's like it's not even going to be a long game, but I just cannot wait for it.
No,
Like, it
and
just
it's on
looks so good.
and again, Game Pass.
Yes.
It's coming to
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
Pass day
I
one.
can't wait. But sort of like I think this was the first time they've announced it. Was Redfall, which was
Yes,
Arcane
yeah.
Studios' new game,
Yes.
and
Oh, what's that
Yeah.
about?
we'll. So
Not
that
the
is
vampire.
Redfall's
yeah,
like
it's a
it's a
4-player co-op who's
against
the guys who done Prey
vampires.
and stuff. But oh man,
and yeah, that was announced on the Xbox Bethesda stream, and
Mhm.
that was like their kicker at the end. That was like, and it's
Yeah.
an exclusive.
that 5-6 minute trailer, whatever it was. Like, I know it was only a cinematic, but I believe in sort of Arcane, and I absolutely love
I think-
Prey.
Harry and I were saying the exact same thing on the stream. Like, it looked really, really good.
It was
Fighting
pretty. It
vampires
was
with
pretty.
guns and sniper rifles.
Literally,
Oh,
You love to see it. You love to
that
see
sounds like your kind of thing, Brooke.
It, it is. I just looked it up, and it looks really, really, really good. Shooting the flare at these zombies, and then the guy comes running up on screen, completely invisible, and he's just boom. I got a sniper rifle, mate. What you gonna do about it?
what you gonna do? Does anybody else have any more sort of like favorite announcements before we move on to a Wholesome Direct?
I mean, I've mentioned again, Lake. Go on. I'll stick with that.
Oh yeah, Lake is the updated Paperboy fucking sim. So yeah.
No, it's the prequel to Death Stranding.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Was Back for Blood mentioned?
Yes, Back for
Back 4
Blood
Blood
was
was
Xbox. That's
yeah.
that again. Day one Game Pass.
Is it day one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah,
you
day one
actually
Game
cannot
Pass.
beat it. Wow.
Do you think that will come to PC? It should come to PC.
No, yeah, it'll be coming to PC. A Game Pass for PC, I assume as well. When I saw it, think is Game Pass for PC and XCloud. So
because it's the same devs of the Left 4 Dead series, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
Same guys.
Shout out to Rock, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see the resemblance between different of the big zombie characters as well, such as the Smoker, Spitter, and that big guy that likes to destroy everything.
The gameplay alone just was screaming Left 4 Dead. It's what people have been wanting for 12 years since the last one. Is it 12 years?
Yeah, definitely.
We've waited long
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
See, Pokefan in the chat has a good point. Exclusive with quotation marks. You know how these Xbox exclusives
Yeah.
go.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like the Xbox platform exclusive because the Xbox is not just the console now. It's Xbox for PC. It's
A larger
XCloud.
entity
Like,
to
that's their platform now. It's not like
Uh-huh.
PlayStation 5. It's that's their entire platform. They're not going for like the whole. Oh, it's exclusive to this console. You have to buy this console. Their Xbox's whole aim is to make gaming available for everyone, and
Yeah.
that's for people who, have an Xbox but don't have a PC, but have a PC but don't have an Xbox, or don't have either and play through xCloud. So like they're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, which I absolutely
They're doing a
absolutely
great job of that too.
Their,
I'm
their
not-
game
It's just
their game
kicking down.
presentation with
Yeah.
Game Pass is perfect. I mean, it's going to be really, really hard for PlayStation to really answer Game Pass now. I mean, what could they possibly do? You
They've
know,
got
to get
PS.
Game
All
Pass.
they've said in the recent months when the Days Gone was released on PC was, yeah, we'll look into it. Don't you worry.
Like
And
there's
obviously
PS
a few
now,
things that leaked,
but
but
it's not as good. Like I've tried using PS now, and you
Hmm.
need a good bandwidth to even attempt to play some games on it. Like I tried playing the Sly trilogy, games from the PS3,
oh my god, I did the same thing.
and I couldn't
I-
play it.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It just
That's
doesn't
why I've been
work.
wanting to buy a PS3 again for ages, so I can play those older games that aren't on the PS4.
I mean,
Will someone tell
Pokemon's
me?
right, though.
Sorry.
Like more spread across devices is more money. Like
True.
even the limited PlayStation games, so what, Death Stranding, Horizon, Days Gone, and then Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain. I think that's all of them. Like the big ones. They've all done really well, and it like to everybody except Sony. Apparently, it's a no-brainer. Like if you release it on PC, we will play it again.
You know what they should release on PC?
God of
The
War.
Last of Us.
Not gonna happen.
I
That's
know.
that's
The only
their-
way I
that
can
is their
enjoy that game is
console
on
seller.
YouTube.
That is their console seller. That is
Ah.
what, like Uncharted was the
Is that their big
PlayStation
one?
3 console seller. Last of
Yeah.
Us is their PS4, PS5 seller. Like it's
Uh-huh.
just not gonna happen.
I know. It's a shame.
What's-
I was waiting a long time for Red Dead Redemption as well, because I remember playing it when it was on the console at my mate's house, and then years and years later, not playing it again, and then it's finally,
Is the first one on PC or is it not?
No, first one's not on PC.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really
It
rough.
got modded, but even still.
Mm.
You
So-
guys want to move on to Wholesome, or did
I mean, before we
did you
do,
have?
could someone just explain to me, as someone who doesn't have an Xbox, like what Game Pass is? Is that like the old thing on the 360, like where you had Xbox
Go on,
Live
Jack,
Gold and
take-
you get free
take
games
over.
every
Right.
month?
Game Pass is the savior of the gaming
Let
industry.
me just talk about Game
gaming.
Pass. Right. So you pay a Netflix level subscription fee per month,
Right.
and you've got nearly 400 games to play, and it's not
400?
streaming. You download them to the
But
to
can
your
you
system.
get to keep them?
So as long as you're paying for the subscription fee, you get to keep them.
No way.
So you pay it. So it's like $10.99 for Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass for PC.
Really?
I mean, if you do the maths on it, it's if you look at it,
I did the maths. Like all the
Yeah.
games that they announced during the Xbox presentation, there was 27 games that they said that are coming to Game Pass day one. Say £60 a game. It was like 1,600-ish pounds, and then
No way.
and then if you wanted to buy every game on release,
For like £10 a
you could-
month?
or £10
a
a month.
month.
Yeah.
No way. That actually kind of
Same
makes me want an
shit.
Xbox.
It's
Not gonna
literally-
lie.
If you've got PC, you can still get it.
Oh,
You can
really?
still get Game Pass. Yeah, Game
Yeah.
Pass for PC.
It's
and
just
it's
Is that
cheaper.
is that on the live
Yeah.
store? Or am I
it's
am
on
I
the-
showing my
it's on
age?
the-
app.
It's on the Xbox app on the PC.
Ah, this is
Yeah, but Dr. Potatoes in the chat has said, like, yeah, if you haven't got it before, you should get 3 months of Ultimate for £1.
Yeah.
really no
Because
way.
it's still like
Yeah.
in quote unquote in beta.
Isn't it mad? It's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
For a
How good
pound.
it is and how much they like add stuff on. And they did the whole thing with they added all Bethesda stuff, didn't they? Just the other
Yeah.
month.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh,
are
no,
you gonna
on
increase the price? Nope.
On Saturday, they dropped Yakuza 7, so Yakuza Like a Dragon. They dropped Wolfenstein 2, Dishonored 2,
Mhm.
and I think on PC, all the Fallout games. So, I mean, all of the Fallout games.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
No
That
way.
alone should make you just get Game Pass.
Yeah.
Same as Vegas. Come on.
There
Vegas.
is no reason to not get it. I mean, honestly, if that deal is true, Dr. Potatoes,
No,
you're
it is. It is. It's 100% true, yeah.
you're paying up £1 for 3 months to
Yeah.
literally get access to thousands of pounds worth of games. It's a no-brainer.
We're not sponsored by
Absolutely.
Xbox.
No,
We're fanboying it, all
I'll
right?
tell you what we are sponsored by, though. We are sponsored by Apparel 5, which is one of the sponsors episodes of the AGT podcast. Apparel 5 are the cutting edge of teamwear and apparel design, helping many teams, including our own 10-star team, look extremely sexy and great. You can give them a visit at www.apparel5.com or even just check in our Twitch chat right now and you can have a look at them.
No
Wow,
way.
there you got some great stuff,
Love
guys.
Beautiful segue there, Ty.
I love it, don't
He
you?
took the opportunity by the throat.
I did.
Fantastic.
I served you
I
up
did
for
it.
that one, Ty. I served you
Yeah.
up for that one.
Knocked it out of the park, mate.
Gotta set up the other one now.
So,
Damn right, nailed it.
moving on to
any more
Wholesome
points? Yeah,
Direct,
you wanna-
right?
Yeah, let's move on to Wholesome.
I've been
heard you know a
super
lot about
hyped.
this.
I've been super hyped to talk about this because I love all of the
Go
wholesome
on.
and cute games.
Go on. You
Like
go.
one that really caught my
Affiliate.
eye, one that Jess really told me about and really got me to catch my eye. It's We Are OFK, and that's kind of like did you guys ever watch the League of Legends character Seraphine's like Twitter thing? The whole it's like that but a
Can't say I
game.
did.
It's an
No.
indie pop band story.
Oh,
It's a story about
Ooh.
how four friends came together to release their debut music without
I've just checked it out on Steam.
getting frustrated. It's kind of like a dating sim kind of thing, but it's more like a story than anything. There's huge LGBTQ plus themes in it, and it just looks super cool. It's got that like
I'd
cell
love to
shade
see it.
aesthetic as well that you love. It just looks
Yeah.
so cute.
It
Hey,
actually really
thanks. I love my animation too.
does. That looks
But-
really cool.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out and you're interested in those kind of story-based games with a bit of romance, go ahead and check out We Are OFK.
It's given me a very Love, Death and Robots vibe. How like the animation is, which is a Netflix show. If nobody knows,
Uh-huh.
well, there's
I need
it's
to
like
watch season 2
anthropology.
of that.
But no, even that. Oh, I'm adding that to my wish list right now.
See, I'm not a
um,
PC gamer, so none of this is like.
Jack, come on, man. You don't.
Good. I upgraded, and I love it.
yeah.
I will
Upgrade.
eventually. I've got my Series X. I'm a happy boy.
The Master
Do
Race,
what
though.
Jordan has done.
I will eventually. I'm just happy. I'm happy with consoles at the moment.
I mean, I can't
Got
even
my
say anything bad about console now about
I got my
hearing that
Switch.
Game
I got
Pass.
I got my Xbox. I got my PS4 that's gathering dust here.
Fair enough. I mean, I get it. I see your point, but I love my GTX
Jack,
2060.
You've been
RTX.
caught. Dr.
Hey,
Potatoes put, sorry,
did we
put
say?
that wow is just perfect. Just
What
saying.
did we say?
What
What
wow?
did we say? What wow? I don't know what you're talking about. There is no wow.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Wow.
Who said that? Did
Wow.
anybody else catch the Wholesome Direct?
I was there. Now
Oh, you
I
can't
will be
remember.
I'll be completely. But that's my point, Ty. Is that like there was so much in there that was visually appealing, but there was very little for me personally that stood out,
Yeah.
and that's probably why I'm struggling
Really?
to like draw upon it.
No way.
It was beautiful to look at, but nothing really, drew to me that much. I mean,
my
I know for a fact that Jack loves his lake. The
Dude.
Postman Simulator.
I can't
know.
wait. Cannot
I'll
wait.
tell you what. I've just opened up the. Thankfully, Steam has an entire page where you can view them all, and there's a game called Skatebird.
Oh,
Wait,
Skatebird. Right,
Yeah.
that's a game that
title
looks
there.
super funny.
It does, yeah. But I can see, yeah, all of these like thumbnails. I can see why you've just lost because there is so many like colors just standing out to
Mhm.
me.
It's also colourful
And
in
they
the
all just have
Wholesome.
like the same, yeah. They just have the same like warmth to them. Like you just want to like check like Bear and Breakfast.
Right, that's
That
another one.
actually looks that looks pretty cool. Skatebird.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Tony Hawk best watch out, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Watch out for that Robin, Tony Hawk.
Watch out for that, Robin. Well, seeing as not many of us can remember, do you guys just want to move on?
I
Yeah,
want to
no,
talk
we
about
got
one more
two.
Wholesome
Go
one.
ahead.
Those Paralives, right? So if any of you guys have played The Sims,
Yes, I
it's
did
a
see
life
this.
simulator kind of thing. You can build your house, you can customize the characters and everything, but it's way more in depth and it's way more focused. And I love these kind of things.
Yeah,
Decorating a
saw
house I could do for hours. Building a house,
The lighting.
hours.
Kind of
Oh
like
my
House Flipper
God.
in a way, isn't it?
The lighting on it though looks incredible.
Mm-hmm. Paralyze is something that I'm super, super excited for. I know that I'm going to spend way too much time on this game.
Yeah, you're making my Steam wish list like incredibly longer than I expected it to be.
That's just
'Cause I've already
E3
added,
though,
like,
isn't
a
it?
couple of games, but yeah. Oh, that looks amazing. Well, you're distracting me now. Another one added to the wish list.
Don't sleep on Wholesome Direct.
Damn.
Don't sleep on it. There are some of these games
I
in here
can't now.
that'll...
I can't. I'm gonna have to go through all of these now because the thumbnails are they're just something
Mhm.
else. It's just not a title screen, which is what I love. Any more points before anyone attacks me for trying to move on?
Anyone in chat? Anyone got anything? Love to hear from you.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. We love
You
you,
know.
chat.
Yeah. Well, up next we had Ubisoft Forward, which, I mean, in my opinion, was kind of,
Swing and a
it was
miss.
yeah, like it's Ubisoft now. They don't do anything like that's spectacular, but it's also not
No.
that bad.
I think mostly they're just trying to clear their bad name at the moment. They're
Good
doing
luck
what
with
they
that.
can.
Working.
In my opinion, they've really got to grovel for it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact they're putting a bit more sustainability into their stuff. Like Jack mentioned about how Valhalla is going to get a lot more coverage, and it's the first time that
it's
shown it out.
a little bit. They're just talking about the DLC that they spoke about last year for their season pass. They didn't even show much for Siege of Paris. They just said, "Oh yeah, it's still coming. Don't worry." But they spoke about the DLC that literally came out like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Is that the river one?
No,
no.
The
Druid.
The Druid one, yeah, the one set in Ireland, which is still incredibly glitchy.
Yeah, I loaded up my Uplay, and I saw that there was just a bunch of updates, and then I checked like the patch notes, and that was longer than I had ever anticipated. There's so many fixes.
I went to my brother's house and he booted it up, and then he went to go finish the game, like close it down, and it was like, oh, save couldn't be made. I'm like, and he was like, I'm just gonna delete it. He was so close to deleting it.
How do we all feel about Assassin's Creed here, just as a whole?
Well, I love Assassin's Creed.
I loved Assassin's Creed 2, and then I didn't play any after that.
I love
Revelations, amazing games. That's when Assassin's Creed for me was at its peak. But I haven't touched an Assassin's Creed game since Origins.
Was Origin the Egyptian one?
Yeah, Origins is Egypt, and it's probably the best one in a long time.
Which one was after that? Was the one after that like the Spartan one?
Odyssey.
Yeah,
Odyssey. I played Odyssey. I really enjoyed. I never really played the Egyptian one. It didn't really fancy me.
No.
But then after playing Odyssey, I kind of thought to myself, Assassin's Creed is kind of rinse and repeat now. It's going to
took me 3 years to even attempt to start playing Origins, and I sat down and played it, and I had such a good time. It's such a good game.
The unpopular opinion, but for me, well, I did classical civilizations at A level. I love the whole previous civilization. So for me, playing Odyssey, that's a favorite for me. I know a lot of people don't agree because that's when Assassin's Creed have transitioned away from their roots, essentially like embracing the RPG route. But for me, just being a history buff, I don't know, man. That game got me good.
I completely agree with you, Harry. I have a degree in history. And I finished my dissertation on the Roman Empire.
Brilliant!
For me, yeah, it was it was lovely to see Origins and Odyssey, because being a history buff, and it was lovely to see. And I agree, they are seen as like these really contentious games because there is such a move away from the origins of their of the games themselves, but it had to be done because Assassin's Creed was simply, for a number of years, just point Altair, just point Ezio in in the direction of people, and just press X and just get it done. And it
Yeah.
was boring, and the
See-
amount of
Thing is, it had a plot.
training missions,
It had a plot. It
they
had
Yeah.
they were carried by their
Right.
story,
it
but the
was
gameplay
a
was
very
flat.
interesting story,
I
and it was
was
one of the things I really liked about it. But as time went on, they started to stray away from the story to the point where key parts of the plot aren't even in the game anymore. They're in their like comics or books. Like they don't even talk about it in the
right.
games anymore. Like
See,
Valhalla is a Viking game with some Assassin's Creed mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah. As
For
long as they get
me-
the name Assassin out there,
Yeah.
then that's their job
yeah,
done.
yeah. For me, I was a huge fan of the book Da Vinci Code, well, the books, and
Mm.
that's what really drew me into the first few Assassin's Creed games because I loved how it kind of followed that stuff and was all into like the Knights Templar and stuff, and I loved that. That was something that really interested me. But now the newer games don't have any of that kind of stuff.
No, they don't. And it's really sad because it's some of the most engaging stuff about those games.
It was they were the headliners. They were one of the headliners at some point,
Remember?
during the game, and it is a shame, but they have had to modernize because it was just point and click, and to a point, and it was just easy, and they were carried by their story. But there's only so many times you can get away with that, because like realistically, The Last of Us, take this as a perfect example. Interesting story, interesting concept, gameplay wise wasn't really too impressive, and I know that's going to irritate a lot of people, but really, how in depth can you really say The Last of Us was? It was not in depth.
The first.
Can you really call it a game? The Last of Us? It's more like a movie, right?
It's a controllable movie.
Yeah, to play
Yeah.
the movie.
Mm.
It's they're using the guise of like a cover-based shooter to tell a story. It's how Uncharted done it. It's how Last of Us is doing it. It's how the Tomb Raider games did it. The Tomb Raider reboots, they are cover-based games that have some sort of traversal, but it's really a movie.
Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
just-
I agree. I mean, yeah, that was the main headline for Ubisoft, and then you've always got you Just Dance this and Just Dance that.
Just Dance.
Who plays? Is anyone in this chat? Actually play this, or anyone on this call actually play this? Because
When I
One
was
thing
younger.
did, Jordan,
Just
I'd love to hear your take on this. With Rocksmith Plus, how do you feel about that? Because I know musician background. Like, how do you feel about that? Because I thought it was honest, like having it as a sub. Because what they said, they're having it as like a subscription based game, and you don't need any external stuff. You can just play along and.
from a musical perspective, I feel like it really is going to help to get those people that like buy the acoustic, and they're like they play Smoke on the Water, or they learn like Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, really simple songs, and then they hit the wall where like I hit when I've been playing since I was 18, so I mean I've been playing for nearly about 4 or 5 years. I have, and I hit that wall about 2 years in, and it was really tough to break through because like you plateau in your ability because like you can do these easy songs, the difficulty of songs can improve and you can push it, but like you can't play like Eruption, Van Halen, because it's just too difficult.
Yeah.
So
And that's where a lot of people drop off. But from a musical perspective, the fact that like you can just use your phone to do that, and there's no need to even plug anything in. You can just set your guitar next to your phone or your laptop, or you can do this, that, and you do that, and you just play along. Is it too similar to Musician? If you might have seen that, I say no because I don't think the stuff that Musician offers, because they do a similar thing in offering a premium service for that. I think Rocksmith has a lot more in depth in terms of what it could do, and to be fair, I mean, watching it, I was very, very surprised to see this direction they took because it's software, it's not a game. But I think it's an interesting direction to go into, and if they can do, take this concept further, so go into different musical remits, maybe in like percussion or drumming, I would really, really like to see that. So I think it was a really interesting step from Ubisoft to move into that.
So with Rocksmith, I've never really seen much or heard much about it. Is it like a rhythm game like Guitar
So,
Hero, or is it more like a simulator?
I'd say it's a sim.
It is a sim.
Yeah,
in a matter of speed.
basically, when Rocksmith first came out on the 360, it was just a disc-based game, and then you got an extension, which was basically an audio, like a jack you put into an electric guitar,
Oh,
and then
really?
it plugs into the Xbox, and you play along with an electric guitar.
That sounds
Like
super interesting. Like
you're
that,
playing
like a
an
learning
actual
tool, kind
guitar.
of.
Yeah, exactly. It is exactly that.
It is exactly that, and to me, I think a big impact for people is like, because a lot of these people that want to try and pick up an instrument tend to be in their teens, or they're
Right.
like mid-20s. So they tend to be gamers. They tend to be well informed about this stuff. I think even though Ubisoft does have its issues and they're not regarded as quality anymore, having the Ubisoft name, they're still a big brand. So I feel like that will help to push it and maintain it as
Yeah.
as a really big competitor in like the musical education setting.
And that's the thing, though. When you imagine Ubisoft, you imagine like a pair of like devil horns, like kind of like
Definitely,
the image that EA had a few years back.
They still have
Yeah.
that, in my opinion.
I mean,
No.
it's not as bad
Terrible
anymore with
company.
EA.
I don't think EA are
No.
really pushing out. They have like indie studios now, and they're pumping out some really good indie games.
I'm
The
just
ones are
happy.
just a little bit smaller.
I'm just happy that EA does not have control over the Star Wars IP for games anymore. I'm just so happy because it was just trash. The stuff that they were
Everyone
pumping out.
hated
I like
Battlefront, right?
Battlefront 2. I like
Battle-
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2 was okay.
It was okay.
I
Got
enjoyed
to say,
Fallen Order.
I heard a lot of good
No.
things about Fallen Order, but I never
enjoyed
actually
it.
played it.
There's just
The
no
gameplay-
reason to ever go back to it.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
no.
there was
No
No.
replayability,
there.
kind of.
No, there's no
There was
replayability
There
whatsoever.
was nothing in there where I was just kind of like, I feel like I would come back in about a year or two time and just be like, Shadow
Yeah.
Fallen Order. I wouldn't do that. I would definitely not do that. And it would probably be one of those games that I would like take to CEX and just get some money for it.
Oh, just get a
Because-
refund.
Exactly.
I hope I get that feeling with a Far Cry 6, where I can just keep going back to it.
Oh yeah, or at
Uh-huh.
least play it until you platinum it or 1,000 points it, because
Mate.
that's what I've done that with nearly all the Far Cry games. I think 3 and 4. 3 I've done it twice. 4 I've platinumed it. 5 I haven't because it's got that really annoying multiplayer. But they're great games.
Yeah,
just
I remember grinding that
Yeah.
out.
I played the absolute heck out of Far Cry 2.
The Far Cry games are just like
Far Cry
just
2 's
playing those
good.
games. You're just wandering about doing crazy stuff. Like
100%.
how can you not enjoy that?
It
Did you
is
see
it's a
the?
beautiful
Sorry,
sandbox.
God.
No. It's a beautiful sandbox, and but the biggest problem for me was looking at it, and I can't remember who mentioned this. But looking at the gameplay that was shown and the graphics, I mean, it was not impressive.
The graphics did
Yeah.
not look
No.
good.
It was terrible.
I
I'm
hope by the
hoping-
time it releases, it looks thingy.
I mean,
It was
I
weird
can't-
because
I
they
can't-
do that, and then they release like the DLC trailer already.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
got
dude.
me because it involves all the villains from the previous Far Cry's, but even still,
Right.
like, they just know what they're doing.
Oh,
They just hooked me.
It's good business. I'll see it from that perspective, but nah, it's just I think it's just
I'll-
dirty. It's a dirty practice.
I'll be playing Far Cry 6. I know that for sure. I'll probably be
Yep.
getting the season pass.
It's
Yeah,
kind
love
of like
Giancarlo.
a parody
I
of
hope that
games
was
in its
co-op.
genre, right?
Say it again.
It's kind of like a big parody of the other games in its genre, right? Far Cry.
Sort of, yeah.
The ones that when they do like Far Cry 3 and then they did 5 and then they released like the 0.5 where it was Primal and New Dawn. Them
Oh,
ones,
yeah, so-
'cause
so
they
you-
just give up. It's
Yeah,
like, hey, you
so-
want another Far Cry game? Well, there's
So
some,
there was Far Cry
stuff.
3, and then there was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon,
which was
Which
the
I thought
only
was
acceptable
hilarious.
one.
So
and
good.
then there was Far Cry 4, and then they done Primal. It's like they're like, oh, you want another Far Cry game? Here, but it's gonna be weirder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
like
True.
Far Cry, like, and the thing is, for people who haven't played Far Cry 5, I'm not going to say anything, but Far Cry New Dawn is a direct sequel to Far Cry 5, and
Which
I
is
really
really
enjoyed it.
weird. It's
I
weird
enjoyed
though
that.
to think.
Yeah, it's such a looter shooter.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't
Like,
know whether
it's
it's because
it's,
they've came out really frequently or not. Maybe I'm just old. I feel like Far Cry 3 came out like yesterday.
I wish.
If only.
Yeah.
If only.
Oh,
Far Cry 3 is still a great game. Like,
it
I've,
is.
Skyrim with guns.
it's literally Skyrim with guns.
They didn't they announce something to do with Blood Dragon? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
I
there
think-
a show or something?
No,
'Cause I
I-
know.
Oh, yeah, there's
Assassin's
the-
Creed is getting its own show, right?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is
Which-
getting a Netflix series. I think there's something to do with Blood Dragon that's getting a anime series on Netflix.
Oh,
Oh,
But
that's very
also-
exciting.
I don't know if anyone saw it. I think it's if you buy the season pass for Far Cry 6, you get Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon with it as well.
oh god,
Yeah,
those
makes no
words.
sense.
Season pass.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's what they've done.
It's,
It's what they did with Far Cry 5 and Far Cry 3. Like, if you got the season pass for that, you got Far Cry 3 as well.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Did they announce what the Assassin's Creed show is going to be, the Netflix one? Like, is it live action
No.
or?
They announced literally the Assassin's Creed thing was announced like last year during one of the lockdowns. I just remember
Wow.
seeing like the Netflix logo with the Assassin's Creed logo around it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I saw it. There was, I think, one of the writers from Die Hard's making it.
Yes, that's literally
Um,
literally announced that like the past day or so.
Yeah, which is very exciting because the movie didn't do it justice. So I hope that
See,
can be. Good.
Right, here's the thing with the movie. It's not great,
It's not
but I enjoyed it.
terrible.
I enjoyed
Yeah,
it for what
Michael
it was.
Fassbender
It was
couldn't do anything to save it,
no, he couldn't.
and that's all I'm going to say on the Assassin's Creed movie before I.
If
raise
you
my blood
right,
levels.
Sorry, did I just
right,
hear
there's a
Michael
sta-
Jordan?
Michael Fassbender.
Not Michael Jackson. No. Yeah,
Michael Jordan in an Assassin's Creed movie. Let's
I
go.
was so confused for a moment.
His debut as a director in the Assassin's Creed movie.
No,
Yeah.
thing is, there's in the Assassin's Creed movie there was an extended cut, like not an extended cut. There's like deleted scenes where all the modern day assassins that was helping out Michael Fassbender were all characters from the games. They were all ancestors of characters from the games, which they really should have like dived into a bit more.
Yeah, but
I agree.
when that
They
stuff
just-
comes out though, no one's ever going to give it a second chance
No,
unless it's on the level of like Justice League.
yeah,
But sort of jumping into like the whole movie / video game. What do we all think about the new Avatar announcement that Ubisoft saw?
absolutely
did.
right. Thing is,
But my honest opinion, I don't care.
I don't like Avatar.
I hadn't
I've
even heard of
been-
it.
I've been
Yeah.
very like Avatar's very overrated, but that game looked really impressive.
It is. It is, and the weird thing about Avatar is it basically the exact same plot as Titanic, but with blue aliens. It's like its plot lines and the way it follows. It's basically Titanic, and it's just crap. And I just don't like films that it is. Think about it.
It was a really visually interesting film. It was really beautiful,
For
like
its
planet
time,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I'm
2000,
still excited for the second and
Yeah,
third
it
and
was
fourth.
2008,
and
it was
eighth.
like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is completely different. But
was
now
super
it's
cool
like
film.
everyone does it.
I don't
game-
enjoy when they make a movie and then they release a game about the movie. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? The Space Guy. No, the Space Guy with the.
Space Guy.
Uh,
Space
good.
Guy.
he's got the raccoon. He's in the Marvel movie.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
Guardians of the
yeah.
Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That game. It does
Oh,
not
my
interest me at
Jesus
all.
Christ.
I've
mate,
just
I
gotta
can't
say,
wait
I
for
love
Space
Rocket
Guy.
Raccoon.
I cannot wait until we get to Square because I have got so much stuff to say.
Just gonna go
Holy
off,
crap!
yeah.
Shall
I
we
don't
move on to
like
that
it.
then?
It looks
Have we spoken-
trash.
Have we
Shall
talked
we?
enough bad stuff about Ubisoft yet?
I've
Yeah.
got
I'm go on,
I'm a-
Harry.
on Ubisoft. One of the things that I was expecting that wasn't there, which was a big gutter for me. I don't know about everybody else, but I've loved the Division games that have came out. So
Yeah.
I'm a looter shooter sucker. I'll admit it now. Judge me all you will. But those games for me, like the grind. Back when I had the time, Destiny for me was endless.
Uh-huh.
That game was literally non-stop for me
Yeah.
as a kid.
For me, it was
Um,
Destiny 2.
You mentioned this on stream.
I
as well.
know it just was a thing, but so there is to be a free-to-play next division that's coming out, which is an interesting take, which I'll fully embrace. Yes, it will be littered with microtransactions because it's
How
free
pay
to
to
play.
win is it going to be?
We move on. So that's the point. But yeah, I was surprised that there wasn't anything from that, because I feel like, yeah, you had, the big announcements of, like Avatar and all that stuff. But I feel like the Division is an important IP within Ubisoft. It's their like looter shooter, like pure based looter shooter compared to the other ones. And
I really liked the idea. I've been a really long time MMORPG player in the past, and when I thought about this, like, a shooter MMORPG, the only time I've really seen that is like All Points Bulletin, and we all know about that game, right? I hate
I've
talking
never heard
about
of
it.
that.
All Points
never heard
Bulletin,
of-
really old MMORPG. It's like cops versus
Okay.
robbers kind of thing.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like that, and it was just kind of better in that way, but it didn't really scratch the itch of an MMORPG for me. It was kind of like Destiny.
Yeah, it was very contained Division, but I loved the Division. It's really
That's
good.
how he gets it. Thank God, Ty. Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of stuff got leaked though, didn't it? There was like 25 minutes of gameplay of that new Division that got leaked. So I'm
really?
guessing it was just too. Yeah, it was like too early and stuff. But not to keep going back to the Avatar game, but it's been on the same engine as that. So hopefully, if Far Cry sucks, we get Avatar / Far Cry.
Yes.
Speaking of leaks, though, before we move on from Ubisoft, Mario and Rabbids was literally leaked the day of the presentation, which absolutely sucks, because that would have been such a nice.
That would have been a
to
shocker.
have. And it was straight up. It was. I can't imagine how disappointed the devs were for that, because that would have been such a nice surprise. Because the first one done well. I've got the first. I haven't finished the first one, but I really enjoyed what it was, like an XCOM style game, but with Mario and the Rabbids. Like, how can that not?
Weird
Speaking about Rabbids,
I always love games like that, to be fair. Turn-based strategies.
I played the absolute heck out of Rayman Raving Rabbids on the Nintendo Wii when I was younger. And I know how bad of a game it was, but I played the absolute heck out of that game. And I loved it. Every single moment of it. That's actually the game
Maybe
that got me
next
into rhythm
E3.
games with like the dance.
Next E3, you might get it back.
Yeah.
More
Thanks,
Rabbids,
Ubisoft.
please.
All right.
Oh, we're actually approaching the
next-
1 hour mark. Just
we
a
actually?
notification
We
to
are
those.
indeed, yeah.
Just a shout
Yeah,
out to those guys in
follow
the Twitch chat and those guys who'll be viewing on YouTube. If you're not already, make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, a comment if you're on YouTube. Make sure to check out our socials, check out the Twitter. There's all kinds of new news going out on Twitter. It's absolutely nuts. You'll never miss a beat.
Yeah, Twitter is popping off this week with
Lovely, guys.
E3 news.
Yeah.
It's been full. Like, there's not been one instance where I've looked at like my Twitter and it's like hasn't been a Adamo.
right.
Same with Instagram. Like, I'll scroll through Instagram, I'm like, oh, Adamo.
Samo.
Oh.
But it's all good.
I unironically sent my friend a link to Adamo because I was like, just check out all the stuff we've got. And I think speaking of amazing team on the Instagram page, I saw something I didn't even know was a thing. Back for Blood. If one person has the DLC, everyone in your team can play it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? No way.
Oh, that's
How
successful.
cool is that? How
Very-
awesome is that?
very
That's
nice.
really cool.
So I
That's
was like,
cool.
this is awesome. My friend would love the sound of this, so I sent her the link because, like, that's
Look at that. We
super
love
cool.
that. We love that. All
100%.
right. Up next we have Devolver Digital.
Oh.
Isn't this
Does
where it got a bit
anybody
weird?
want to sort of like take the lead on this? If they got anything?
Was
I
this
mean,
one of the guys that kept on eating all them hot dogs on stream?
Yeah, apparently
Oh,
Devolver
God.
got very weird.
Was that the bit
Yeah,
with the
they got-
iPads? Was that the bit with the iPads?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, pretty sure a guy was dancing on top of a bar with an iPad.
Oh,
Oh,
no, that wasn't
no.
Devolver. That was just
That was-
the links between the shows.
Oh really?
That
The
was-
it was getting
iPad
a bit
robots
weird.
were so
that
weird.
was just
That creeped me
Bruce
out.
Green dancing with some iPads.
He loved it. He loves it. He loves
He
it.
was having
Bruce
the
Green.
time of his life.
Man loves his tech.
I
Man
tell you
loves
what,
his-
though, I do like the sarcastic approach that they took because, like, like it was blatantly meant to be the, spoof of all of the you get Ubisoft Plus, you get Xbox Game Pass, you get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and so we were literally. I remember me and Jack were joking about with another Skyrim edition, it'll be like the Ultimate Special Deluxe Uber edition of Skyrim, and I enjoy companies that can at least take that step back and think, you know what, let's take our segment to take the mick out of what the industry is.
Is this for Devolver?
turning
I can
into,
appreciate
Or is this
it.
the links? Are these just a link? Because I didn't watch the Devolver. I was not present for the Devolver conference, but apparently you've got
heavy, sarcastic, heavy meme.
Yeah.
I'll embrace
Brilliant.
it. Not I didn't watch it for the games. I tuned in and I was like, what is going on? But then I ended up liking it. So
It's a smart approach, though, isn't it? Like now with like meme culture and stuff, like they know already everyone's tweeting and memeing about it, so it's just there.
it's
They know
way
we like
more
to take the
memorable.
mick.
It's a good selling point. It's a really
Yeah.
good selling point.
I've only seen a couple. I don't know how many games they announced or shown off, but there was one, and I apologize if I pronounced this wrong, but Trek to Yomai, which is a black and white samurai, looks like a 2D scroller, but it's like a mini trailer, which is coming. Unfortunately, it's coming 2022. But just from that minute, I love anything to do with samurai and things like that, and the fact that it's in black and white, give it to me. That
It's like one of those
it
old
looks really
Samurai
good.
movies.
Yeah. But that one, I think that one stands out to me the most just from looking at all these. There is one called Wizard with a Gun, which the title has me. But I am just
Wizard
picturing
with a
Gandalf.
gun.
That actually looked pretty cool. That did.
That sounds
It did.
amazing.
It did. They always go for the wacky stuff because it was Devolver Digital did was it Hotline Miami? Like those kind of just
Hotline
mental
Miami.
games.
I love the soundtrack. I love the
remember that.
soundtrack.
Amazing stuff.
I love one of the artists for that game, the music artists. I Am the Kid, you know what I mean. That guy produces some phenomenal. I can't say the word, but amazing
Use your
tracks.
words.
Phenomenal.
I can't use
Were they
my
the
mouth.
guys that did Fall Guys? Or at least published it?
Devolver. I think
Devolver.
so.
n-
I swear
No.
Devolver's involved in it in some way.
Not
Or maybe I'm just
sure.
having a brain.
Wizard with a Gun reminds me a lot of Hades in its like art style, and stuff like that. I just thought it was just really. It was
Another
very.
game that's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Buy Game Pass. Not sponsored by
Yeah.
Xbox. But it will be.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
No, but I don't know. It's another game that has a really really nice aesthetic, and it's definitely going to be something I'm going to be picking up in the near future. Definitely.
Great.
So,
Wizard with a Gun.
One of you guys really, really wanted to talk about Square. I want to hear about that because
Was
That
I?
was-
oh
I'm
my
sure that was
God.
Jordan.
let loose.
Epic rant incoming, maybe.
Oh,
But you want to do your rant now, or you want to go with the big Xbox Bethesda first?
Ah,
I'll
we'll
let
do
you
it in
decide.
order.
Yeah,
I'm a
okay.
sucker for order.
All right. I personally would say the main sort of event, how that Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like they just know what they're doing. Like again with the Game Pass, not to like sort of shout into this echo chamber, but they just hit every single like spot. Like they
did.
know what the audience wants. Like
Exactly.
everyone was waiting for like Halo and things like that, and they just give us more.
It was just an hour and a half of trailer after trailer after trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm
Great
okay with that.
approach. Yeah,
And they're doing I think it's tomorrow. We're recording this on the 16th, so tomorrow there's gonna be an extended Xbox showcase.
Yes.
So it's going to be even showing even more stuff, and they're going to be talking to different devs and stuff like that. So I'll be watching that, seeing what's going on there. But yeah, it was just trailer after trailer. There was no talk of hardware. There was no talk of like specs or anything. It was just these are the games you want to see. So here, have
I
them.
think it was a thing of as well. They came to steal the show because PlayStation didn't come up
Yeah.
to E3.
The PlayStation
So
didn't bother.
they just went hard, and 27 games, right? And the
27
majority of
games for
them-
Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah,
Day one.
snoozy
coming to
lose,
Game
right?
Pass. It's just exactly. They took the show.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about, how PlayStation will keep up. It's difficult to keep up when you're not at the show. So
yeah.
they came to play. You know what I
They
mean?
were- yeah, PlayStation worked. Like there was some stuff at Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley for PlayStation, but there's nothing nothing to write home about.
No,
Nothing
and
good
I,
enough.
I feel like they really missed the mark on that. And this is the kind of like this will lead into like our final topic when we go through all the things. Is that do we seriously think? And I don't want us to discuss it yet, but is E3 dying? Because we always it comes up every now and then. Is like, is E3 really worth the time and the money all invested?
I think so.
Thing is, now we've got like Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, and now the Game Awards is a big one for games releases.
Definitely.
Like, there's so many that like game developers are different studios are just like, do we want to talk about this at E3? Do we want to talk about it at Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, or do we want to wait till Christmas and do the Game Awards?
Yeah, there's so many options.
Don't tempt us
Like-
with such a juicy topic of conversation here.
Like
you can't say
E3
we're not going to do this.
I know. We will lead into it. Trust me.
Like E3 was the place to announce games, but now there's so many options. It's and a lot of studios are choosing to do their own stuff. Like Nintendo release a direct like every couple months. Ubisoft Forward, that was a whole like they're gonna start. I assume they're gonna start doing it in that way. Xbox just announce things when they feel like it and tease stuff
True.
in the background of Phil Spencer's shot. I'm still waiting for Game Pass for Switch because he's been having a Switch on his shelf for the past 3, little announcements he's made. So I'm waiting for it.
Hold that juicy thought, right, before we move into it. But the main thing that upset me a little bit about Xbox, and for me personally, they don't take the win. It was the fact that there was no gameplay for Halo Infinite, and I was really upset about this. I know.
that?
We all know. No, there was no gameplay. There was just they just showed a trailer. It was an engine trailer. But there was no game.
Yeah, I get that. Do you think they'll show it tomorrow or whenever Jack said the?
Yeah, I
so.
think
I
you know
hope
what. I think they're gonna. Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot more of a deep dive on stuff tomorrow. I need to double check who's gonna be on it. I think that I did see something along the lines of Obsidian being there, so might
Obsidian.
get a little bit. Yeah, might get a little bit more stuff about Outer Worlds too.
New Vegas too. New Vegas.
Vegas,
too.
New
Please,
Vegas.
please.
He's still holding out for it. He's
Please.
still
Stop
holding
it,
out.
Jordan.
I
Stop
admire,
killing
I
it.
admire it. I admire it, but
Let me be unprofessional. Check on my phone for Xbox stuff.
What did everyone like from the Xbox stuff actually?
Fridge.
There was a lot.
Fridge.
From the fridge.
I mean, the fridge does look toasty.
I mean,
Can't not-
the fridge looks toasty. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth?
Tasty,
Tasty.
Even still.
tasty. Sorry, is my Brummie accent too thick? I apologise.
By the way, I was just gonna say I love the gestures with the pen. I love that.
Do you know what? I do
He's
this.
like a
I do this
teacher on
during
Zoom.
meetings. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Oh no way.
I'm an
It's
animated.
guiding him.
I am. Yeah.
Did
you
anyone
know.
Okay.
see the? Sorry, Jack. Go on.
I was just gonna say the Xbox Showcase Extended, featuring conversations from developers such as Double Fine, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, Rare, and other
Rare?
dev partners.
What's coming from
Oh,
Rare?
yeah.
love it.
One.
Oh.
Rare? Yeah.
Six.
Microsoft owned Rare for a very
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yes.
That's not rare at all.
It's only down
No.
the road, from us,
Mm.
isn't it?
It
We
is.
talked
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
Rare is over in Twycross. So we
Really?
Can, yeah,
man.
yeah.
Adamo goes to Rare Studios.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
Oh,
Oh,
Can you
yeah, man.
imagine?
Yeah, man.
One day.
Come away with
Uh,
some Banjo Kazooie merchandise. That's what I want.
God, roll
What-
Rare.
what I was gonna
Speaking of
ask was,
speaking of devs in the Midlands, sorry Ty. Speaking of devs in the Midlands, Gary's mod made in Warsaw.
how do
Really?
you know this
Was it?
information?
Yeah,
In Warsaw?
Gary's mod is made in Warsaw.
Right. Well, now you
That's-
have to go
that's his
there
mod.
and
We
take a
do.
photo of exactly where it's been, where
Happily,
it got founded.
Put it on the Adamo Insta. It's like, oh,
Gary's mod.
Well, now we know.
Yeah,
G-Man's from Warsaw.
It's just Jack next to a wall.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Just outside his house.
But
No.
no, I was going to ask, did anyone manage to see the Atomic Heart sort of trailer that they did? Because I've never heard of this before the Xbox showcase. Like most of the other games are obviously quite the big ones, like Sea of Thieves and Battlefield, but this one seemed pretty good. which is it looks to me like a very Fallout / Wolfenstein
Fallout
game.
/ Wolfenstein. That sounds.
Yeah, on the Steam page it says like it's an open world action RPG. I would have thought, which unfolds an alternate universe in the Soviet Union, and you're a KGB agent. But the photos
Seems
look
interesting.
incredible. Like
it sounds
really
a little bit spicy
sort of
and
like a big mech,
controversial.
yeah.
Interesting.
Mundfish have developed and published it.
Okay.
But I don't think it has any release date. But aside from obviously like the big ones, like 12 minutes, promote that again, and Halo and stuff like that. That was my biggest one for the Xbox and Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Battlefield 2042, just because I'm gassed for first-person shooters.
Man, I'm so glad I have a PC now, like so I can play it. Because honestly, Battlefield 2042, that trailer, that gameplay reveal, man, it makes me want to play, Battlefield again.
It's going to look phenomenal on PC.
So entertaining. The only thing I can say, obviously, that map. I hope, obviously, because you're always going to see that sandstorm is going to be like a vital element. It's always going to be there on the map. What I hope to see is that the tornado doesn't just come from one direction. I hope it has multiple spawn points that it can come in through.
So it's random every game.
That's what exactly. And
what was it? Was it Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 that had like this whole thing with like the Levolution thing, but in the end it just got really old and you'd see it every single game? Was that 3 or 4?
I think.
4?
It was 4 when you could bring down the building and they really hyped it up. It was cool the first couple of times, and then like it just gets a bit annoying, to be fair.
It's old.
Yeah,
people just did immediately. But
what do you think about the that robot dog on Battlefield? When you're seeing that
dog with a gun,
as it's not the point where like it's just gonna be like so annoying.
And like the RCXD.
Yeah, I feel like they sort of like looked at all the annoying stuff in Battlefield and COD, so I'm hoping, but we never know because the trailer looked stupid. It was going like 100 miles an hour.
In
I rate
Battlefield,
that so much.
In Battlefield, the difference between COD and Battlefield, like with these things, like these mechanical things that they add to the game, everyone in Battlefield has ways to be destroying these things, right? There's always going to be players playing support or engineer with rocket launchers or C4 or whatever. Or maybe if they want to really go for it, they're going to burn it with the gas torch.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be like people who can destroy these things.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not a big fan of the robot dog. Like the whole futuristic thing is not like the robot dog thing. It's not really my style. I like other futuristic things that Battlefield has put into it, like the certain sights to the certain tanks and stuff like that, to the vehicles as well. And the Levolution in Battlefield, especially with some of the kind of like futuristic, some of the maps look pretty cool. Oh, and also, yeah. And did you see where during in game you can actually change cosmetic parts on your weapon, which I thought, that is going to be helpful because I know there's going to be some sniper on top of a roof. And I'm going, okay, put an ACOG scope on, bang, you're gone.
That sounds really useful and interesting.
Like a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
See, I love that about Tarkov. The way if I can just change my attachments around the way I need them on a mission.
On the fly.
Yeah.
100%.
You just need a robot dog.
And that render zook though, that was pretty cool on the trailer.
I've got to agree with you, Brooke, because I feel like 2042 is the right amount of like advancement in terms of technology to play with.
Yeah.
Because obviously Infinity War was way too far.
It was horrible. I feel sick just mentioning that.
A lot of people didn't like Advanced Warfare. I was one of the few people that did.
You liked Advanced Warfare?
I liked Advanced Warfare.
Amazing.
I played a lot of Uplink. And I actually got quite good. I was actually doing. I played a lot of ranked on that. I was actually really good. Yeah,
I was really lucky on Advanced Warfare.
What can I say? Yeah.
I ended up getting one of those pay-to-win weapons. I ended up getting one of those pay-to-win weapons on Advanced Warfare from my first ever crate. I got the Obsidian Steed, and I got a bunch of hate mail for it. But you know what? Even though I got that that absurdly overpowered weapon from like my first ever box. I
Mhm.
didn't enjoy the game. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare was not fun.
The stories have been good, but other than that,
Kevin Spacey.
it's a bit
I
of
like
an
him
off.
in there.
I am a bit disappointed with the Battlefield 5 because they say it's not going to have a campaign. It's going to be all multiplayer.
Right? No way. I
Yeah.
love the Battlefield campaigns.
I know Battlefield campaigns are the best.
Yeah.
But it's about time that Battlefield stepped up its game and we actually got a better Battlefield than Battlefield 5, in my opinion.
Right.
it's
I
a-
don't
I
think
think
that's very
it's
hard,
awesome.
to be honest.
It's a good thingy to get rid of if it's going
Yes.
to be decent multiplayer.
Mhm.
I really want to hear Jordan to go off on Square Enix. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm
let's
ready.
go. Let's go.
Been like
Alright,
subtly brewing in the background. You
I
can
haven't-
see him
Oh,
getting ready for
I didn't watch anything from Square.
trembling.
So ruin it for me. Let's go.
It was probably one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen. Right, and I will be completely honest. This bloody Marvel game with like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's absolutely terrible. It looks terrible. Well, graphically
Yes.
speaking, yeah, it looks interesting, but it plays and looks in terms of animation. It looks almost exactly like the Nier series, Nier Replicant, and obviously Nier Automata. Obviously this Babylon's Fall plays exactly, judging by the stuff that they showed, plays exactly like the Marvel thing, which plays exactly like Nier, and they're just rehashing the same stuff. And it's funny that because obviously it all comes from the same team, so they're just like, where's the innovation? The only one thing that ever stood out for me that in the entire press conference was the fact that they announced that they were going to release remasters of Final Fantasy 1 to 6. That was the only thing that was interesting to me. Other than that, the entire press conference was poor, incredibly poor.
Mhm.
Poor showing. All the games look exactly the bloody same. I mean, honestly, what are they doing? Because I'm really disappointed because Square's gone downhill. Square's one of my favourites.
I
love
used to
Final
love them.
Fantasy. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy, but my God, I mean, what are they doing with themselves? I mean, Outriders. I'm probably going to get hate for this. Outriders is terrible. It's terrible.
Hard agree.
I
Hard
had a
Oh,
agree.
no.
I'm gonna
Terrible.
disagree with that, yeah.
I had a feeling it was
finished
going to be that way.
Outriders, and I was bored.
Felt like a
Um,
bit of a cash grab.
The game, right? So the game was supposed to be. It is just a co-op game. You can play it co-op, you can play it single player, but it's being promoted. It plays exactly like a live service game.
No.
It was
Ah.
just to film the new Guardians game. That's all it was.
It's a
Yeah.
bad Destiny, bad Division.
Oh, no, it's a
game.
bad Destiny, but it's not even a multiplayer game like Destiny.
On a brighter note, we've got Tom in the chat. Hi, Tom. How's it going?
Have we really?
Yeah.
Oh,
The man
hello,
himself.
Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Is
He's
it
here.
the Tom?
It's the
The
Tom,
Tom.
It is the Tom.
big boss man Tom
Yeah.
himself.
Nice
Aye,
to
big
see you,
boss
Tom.
man.
We
Yeah. Tom, you're currently joining in at a perfect time to hear the Square Enix rant from
Yeah,
your boy Jordan.
You
So,
joined it at just the right moment.
Just the right
Not a fan of Square. Not a fan of Square.
no.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. And Outriders is a perfect example. But honestly, I highly recommend, right, you go and watch a trailer for Nier Replicant, right? Then watch the trailer for the this Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy game. Then watch the trailer for Babylon's Fall. You will see almost the exact same gameplay elements. It is shocking how much it just seems like a copy and paste cash grab. It's a real shame because they are a developer and a publisher that has so much potential and has so much amazing history in making amazing games. Some of my favorites. I'm a massive RPG fan, and it's a real shame that they've turned around and just done this because it honestly does feel like a copy and paste template. They've just gone, oh, we can make a game out of this. We can make a game out of that, and all they've done is change the voice actors, change the setting, and that's all they've done. And it's a real shame.
The weirdest part, right, with all of that, is the shown off the Guardians game, which is a separate entity to the Marvel game that they've just done, like the Avengers, and then they announced the Black Panther expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you flip them around, it would be a lot better for the Black Panther expansion to be its own game. But even still, they would mess it up.
yeah, well, exactly that. And when it comes to it, making another, they have to give Marvel's Avengers content. because it's on its last legs. You know,
Yeah.
if they made Black Panther a separate game, Marvel's Avengers would just cease to exist.
It's
'cause
been on its last legs for a little bit too long now.
I've
it's
got data,
somehow
and
moving.
It
That's-
didn't
Slow
even.
down.
It didn't even. Has it turned a profit yet? Because I remember it saying like first few months it didn't turn a profit whatsoever.
No way. Did they like cast some ridiculously expensive voice actors or something?
They
Not
got
really.
Nolan North.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Troy
Yeah,
Baker.
they got all the big hitters: Nolan
Yeah.
North, Troy Baker, Travis Willingham, Laura Bailey, all of those lot.
Mhm.
It's just weird how you can like mess up one of the most iconic IPs, you know, especially going from like the MCU, and they just made like the worst decisions ever.
I've got to say, I did play a bit of it, and Nolan North as Tony Stark was a good fit.
Nolan North is terrific.
But
You can't go
that's
wrong.
it. That's it, really.
It's
It's
a
a
real
real
shame,
shame.
but what's the point? Because it's a like you're having to do so much for the 1% you get back, and then it just becomes not fun.
Was he the one who
It-
plays the ghost in Destiny 2? Or is
Yes.
that
It
someone
was,
else? Ah,
No,
Yes,
that's-
No, it was.
well,
It was.
It was the
Peter
Dinklebot.
Dinklage.
It was the
Yeah.
Dinklebot.
Yeah.
And then they completely retconned him and put Nolan North in for all of his previous lines.
hmm
Yeah, strange one that.
Yeah,
But,
I think it must have been like too much money to get good old Dinklage
Pretty
back.
sure it was Game of Thrones conflicting. He didn't have time to do both.
And money.
Money,
100%
maybe.
the money.
Money makes the world go round, I'm afraid.
It does indeed.
do you have any more ranting points, Jord?
Oh,
We'll-
do you know what? The stuff I would like to say about Square Enix, I can't say in front of Tom. So that's all I'm going to say. So
Yeah.
I'd probably swiftly move on.
We'll move on, which is the PC gaming show. Who wants to take the lead on this?
I didn't
no,
manage to catch any of this, so you'll have to explain a few things to me.
I just saw Twitter going like just absolutely ruin him, saying it was useless.
It was.
No way.
I wasn't
watched
anything like.
I watched a bit of it and I was like, "This is, what?" I don't. Again, I'm not a PC gamer, but some of the stuff was just like, all right,
He had
just
I
like
think the most
lackluster or
interesting
bad?
thing.
a little bit lackluster. Yeah, like there's. I've never watched a PC game show before, so I don't know what they're like. But it was. I struggled to stay engaged.
I struggle to find the relevance of PC Game Show now because there are realistically, not too many big titles that are strictly like AAA titles that are strictly available on PC anymore. There is a lot more of diversity because developers and publishers understand that being able to preach to a much bigger market is frankly just that that's the big money earner. So why would you limit yourself to a very, very big platform? That can't be
Yeah.
understated. PC is, but like if you can appeal to everyone and you can get it on different consoles, if from Xbox to Switch and all and everything in between, that's where the money is. So I really did struggle to find the relevance of what they were saying. And to be fair, it was one of the cringiest shows I've seen for E3 in a long time.
Was
It
it
was
worse than the
bad.
iPads?
Do you know what? The iPads, it was just funny to look at, and they were leaning into it as being goofy. I
Yeah.
understand, but like PC Game Show was just taking itself way too
No
seriously.
way. I've got to watch the
I-
VODs. I've got to catch
It's
up.
bad. It's poor. But no, it was yeah. There was, and to be fair, there was nothing that really stood out in terms of the PC stuff. A lot of it was just rehashing stuff that we saw.
There was that really weird glove. I heard
Glove?
cheating glove.
the
Right.
cheating glove. Yes, the cheating glove.
Right. This is really weird. What it does, this glove, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat that might have seen this, from what I understand, right, this glove monitors your brain activity, similar to
What?
like those cat ears, those
Right.
cat ears that are altered by your emotions, right? And say that like obviously everyone we've always been in that situation, Brooke knows this from Valorant, is that like there is always someone that's going to be faster off the mark than you are,
Do not remind me.
to get that kill, and we came on, we had a game and I played very poorly. So yeah, I know that all too well. But what it does, obviously your brain is able to receive this information a lot quicker than you will be able to react with your fingers. So it will monitor your brain activity to a point and will forcibly make you click faster than your normal reactions Like,
Jesus
What the
Christ.
heck?
Yeah.
What you're saying is it's real life hacks.
It's a,
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
it's
literal hack.
instead of having hacks on your
Cyberpunk
computer,
2077.
yeah, hack yourself.
That's a
Where
Black
is his
Mirror
glove?
episode in the making.
What makes you a criminal in 2077?
Oh my god.
I did not hear about this. What?
Yeah, how has
Yeah.
that not got more like publicity?
Yeah.
Is it just going to be like a
the
gimmick
hell?
though, or do you think
I'll
it's actually going to be a
try
thing?
I hope not, because
Eliza,
it
am I able
will,
to post links? Or am I going to get
change the competitive scene
post.
in probably the worst way.
Bro, it'd be funny if like you hook
It's-
up all that glove and it's all rigged up, and then
Like,
Connor Reeves just kicks
live-
down your front door.
Like you're playing, like, especially the comp scene that's all online. Like you can't monitor what people are doing. You know,
Do you know
like
what?
if they've got
It just sounds scary.
Yeah, it
bit.
does. Do you know
Oh,
what, Brooke,
I
though?
just can't imagine your hand moving when you didn't tell it to. That'd be weird, right?
Brooke
Like
will be getting it,
you're
though.
just
Sure.
twitching around.
Just pre-firing everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I mean,
I'm
well-
You've been there before, Ty.
I'm just a computer animation. I live inside a computer, but you know what? I'd do anything for Keanu Reeves to kick my door down. Don't tell
Trust
me.
me.
Yeah, you
What
got
a
a point there.
beautiful man.
Well, I think that says everything about the PC gaming show. I mean,
yeah.
go watch the VOD. Go see if you want to attach something to your brain. But I think we'll just move on.
Take a
which
look
is
into
the,
my matrix. Sorry,
the,
carry
the
on.
future game show.
Yeah, future
That
games.
doesn't sound promising, Jack.
No, it's right. So that one was that was show started at midnight. So we
Oh,
were
wow.
we were all exhausted at this point,
With meh.
and the whole show is just,
Just
Mhm.
meh.
yeah.
It did
Meh.
feel like after like
It did
Xboxes
have-
and the indie stuff, it just
Yeah,
went downhill.
It did have one cool feature where they had their virtual show floor. In the sense, basically they were saying everything that's being shown on the virtual show floor, you can go to their website and demo the game
Really?
Oh, that's cool. To watch or to play?
to play. You could demo the game to
Oh.
play,
Mm.
which was a
That
nice
sounds cool.
touch. It was a nice touch, but nothing stood out for future game show. It was yeah, it felt very, again, it was like the PC show, very like incredibly scripted.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
looking at it now, and there's literally nothing. They just show. Was Troy Baker hosting it?
Yeah, Troy Baker and was it Laura Bailey?
Oh, we've
Hi,
got a new
Buck's mom.
guest.
That was me mother. Apologies about that.
Hello, Mrs. Raging at War.
Oh, that's a brilliant.
Yeah,
Ah.
future game show was we were just it got to the point where we were all kind of like waiting for it to finish.
Yeah,
We were all
it's sad too
resident
that
sleepers
it
in
was
the
at,
chat.
it was at midnight too.
Yeah,
Like, so you stay up thinking like there's going to be some really cool announcement like unseen before, and
Yeah.
you just get absolutely naff.
Yeah, I can imagine it was just like resident sleeper in the chat for the main channel,
was-
right?
it was like it was like a lot of the stuff was featured because I didn't watch it, but a lot of stuff was featured on Wholesome and Gorilla. So
Yeah,
so
and
it's
it
just,
just seemed like they were just reposting stuff.
yeah,
that's not good, especially like a 3-4 day event, depending on how you view it. And it's just, you know what I mean, you go to or watch or stay up, whatever it is, for like 3 to 4 different conferences, and you see the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, great, but show us more or just go away.
yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Well, I mean, we're getting through these.
Why
It's
are we
really
sat here just listening to nothing?
easy. Capcom showcase. That's
Another
what
I
we
don't-
have next.
Didn't
another
watch
one
it.
that got
I
heavily
didn't watch
roasted.
it either.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it.
All of these sort of like
I've heard Capcom
different
did do well.
showcases. Yeah, it sort of just puts our point of the question Jord asked, and then we'll get to it at the end. Like, it just adds up depending on, because a lot of us now, even though we all have the same interests, which is gaming, along with many others, but that's a big umbrella word. And there's many like different tiny little things that go into that. But even
Yeah.
just from the biggest quote unquote event for gaming, even now a lot of us were just like, yeah, it's just not. It just hasn't hit it.
Didn't they just didn't like the only big thing that was announced was Resident Evil Village DLC.
But that was just they didn't even say it was in development though.
Oh,
There
brilliant.
was, yeah, it was like they didn't have any plans for it to do.
Oh.
So because Resident Evil 7, like they had to have DLC because they couldn't finish the game. I believe for one of the DLCs, which is why it was free or something. I'm not sure. And then on this one, it was supposed to just be a full game. And then we're like, oh, it's really popular. Who would have thought? And then they were like, yeah, I guess we'll start making it if you want that. You know, come back in a couple of years.
Lovely.
I mean,
like
it's good,
half-hearted kind of
but-
thing.
Yeah, but
Unlucky.
So I assume with that DLC, it won't be anything to do with the main story or anything related.
I have no idea. I've yet to
Yeah.
play.
I
Evil 8
don't do scary,
or
so
Village.
I stray away from those games.
Neither does Ant, evidently.
Oh,
Yeah, and doesn't. He gave it a shot though. To be fair, but
did.
yeah.
He did. He did. Solid,
to know how
solid
far
effort.
Yeah, but again, it's just I'm just trying to find, you know, because we all of us we did like a little recap just so we weren't like forgetting on every game and stuff. But even now, I'm like looking and it's just nothing. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how like
It just
Yeah.
seems like utter disappointment for the last
Yeah,
like 2 or
it's like,
3,
why would
3 or
you
4
even-
shows.
why would you even do it? Like, why would you like as a company like take pride in just saying,
Were the
"Hey,
people
we're gonna release DLC." You could put that in a tweet.
were the
would have
people
the same
broadcasting
reaction.
it at least like hyped about it, or were they just like, yeah, dude, DLC, great?
It's like,
Yeah.
can't wait for my favorite streamer to watch this.
Right.
Mhm.
Well,
We forgot
I'm-
one of
I'm-
the big hitters as well.
Yeah.
Completely forgot from the Xbox conference. Slime Rancher 2.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
Slime Rancher 2.
Slime
don't
Rancher
get
2.
me
I'm so hyped.
started on
we
that
could have spoken
game.
about
Yes.
Xbox all day.
I'll happily talk about Xbox all day.
They had some good ones.
They did.
We'll once
We'll
we finish
recap.
our last
Circle
show,
round.
yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
a little loop around. Which last
I am
mean-
paying attention. I'm just trying so hard to find this cheating glove in the press conference.
Oh my.
He's the next.
Are you
Dude,
imagining
I'm
it?
on the border
you
of
duped us
believing you
all?
at this point, Jordan.
Yeah, the pen's not an action. We don't know exactly what you're doing. We need the gestures back. There we go. Nintendo Direct.
Solid showing.
I'm
Solid
Opened,
showing.
going to leave it to
Open-
you guys because you are much bigger like Nintendo fans.
It opened with a Tekken. I can't remember the character's name. I'm probably butchering this whole story, but opened with a Tekken character coming to Smash. Which-
Okay.
And I think it was Ross that was on with us for that one, and he said that basically the entire moveset of this character is going to be playable in Smash.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
So
Alright,
That doesn't
yeah.
sound balanced.
yeah.
Oh no! But is that game even balanced?
Smash? I think Smash is relatively balanced, right?
Relatively, but there's definitely a tier list of like who's the best.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah,
and there
exactly.
are definitely players that characters that you just would not
Mhm.
at
Smash
all
isn't like
use
super
competitively.
competitive though. Like Nintendo hate the word competitive, right? They really want to stay away from it. From the sound of it.
Nintendo hate it when Smash is referred to as a fighter game because it is a party game
It's-
at heart.
Do you know what
Really?
Nintendo doesn't hate though?
Money.
No, the Strive Group, which is one of our sponsors for the AGT.
He's only gone and done it.
Utilizes education to create changes in the world. Strive offers a range of training programs, audits, assessments, and consultation services to ensure that your organization is seen as an employer of choice within your sector. The Apprenticeship Training Agency has launched back in April 1st, so you can actually check them out at www.strivetowork.uk, or you can look in the chat and the description below. Back to our live podcast showing.
So yeah,
Nicely
Nintendo.
done.
Beautiful transition.
Thank
You
you.
always manage your way like to weasel in there with
I've
the
got to.
and you speak them so
I do.
well too. You're a natural.
Thank you. Definitely, my heart's not. You know, my Apple Watch isn't saying, "Please, like, stop moving." Through the roof. It's like we're calling a doctor for you. No, please. I'm just doing an ad reel.
I have found a link to the Impulse Neuro controller.
While you post that, did the I saw that they did something with Zelda, but they didn't show like what the game was called.
Oh, they Breath of the Wild 2. That's coming out next year.
Was it an actual like trailer though? Or was it just a teaser?
It was gameplay. It was a bit of gameplay.
Okay.
So still no official title. So it's still being referred to as Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, and it will be.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
just so I've just clicked on the link that Jordan's just put in the chat for the
Oh, is it
the
the
Black
cheating?
Mirror.
Is it a legit
essentially.
Kickstarter or is it a meme?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
No, this is
Thing
legit.
is, when
It's
it was shown,
legit.
I thought it was a meme. I genuinely thought it was a meme.
As did I. As did
Oh
I.
my!
You're-
Oh
I
my
knew, do you know
god!
what? I
Control of
thought I
your
was
PC
going mad.
gaming.
Because like, where is this thing? But yeah, I found it. That's a generic link, but they do talk about it in the PC game show nearer the end, where they go like through some tech. It is very weird, and it's going to get banned competitively immediately.
Obviously, you
How
told
is
so.
that going to be implemented? It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Honestly,
Or maybe there'll be
I
an
guess you
entire
could-
scene based around it.
Yeah,
never
I
know
guess
what
you could
they
use
might.
if you
Yeah.
really want to destroy one of your friends in like a
Yeah.
1v1.
Oh,
whose
that's kinda
brain is
cheap,
better than the
though.
other?
How sad
I
is
know
that
we're all
though?
saying it looks weird, but we would 100% love to see what it would like feel like.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
interesting for sure.
Oh, it's so weird. Like what? It's very surprising to me that they managed to get it on like E3, like
Yeah.
from a Kickstarter. Like whether or not this works or whatever happens, that's really impressive. Because just
Oh,
from looking
definitely.
at this page, it still creeps me out.
That just shows how badly people want to be good at first-person shooters. That's all that shows.
So, yeah. Oh my god. I'm able to click faster in Tetris now. Get in.
Your
Oh, have you
Tetris is a
seen- have you
super
seen
competitive game though.
Tetris World Championship.
Tetris
You gotta think though,
99,
because
or is it
people
100?
without that glove that are really like insanely good at a game, a first-person shooter, and then you put the glove on. It's
I'm thinking of Shroud using that.
I'd sell my PC.
Oh, I'll have it.
I love it. Yeah, Jack, join the PC gang.
He doesn't want to buy one himself, but he'll just take one.
Oh,
I see how
There's,
it is.
there's
Yeah,
also the
okay.
chance like it could hamper like the top level professional gamers' performance
True.
though. Imagine it could
would
be it could
definitely-
improve like an average gamer's performance, but maybe not like a pro player. Maybe it won't go
Yeah,
that far.
Yeah,
I guess
get
it
used
would
to it, right?
open up. I guess it would open up the whole like competitive scene for casual gamers.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of saturating the competitive scene for pro players.
It's like having a modded controller for your hand.
Yeah.
That's
It's
like-
really weird.
With online tournaments and stuff, how are they going to filter for this stuff?
Exactly.
That's kind of a problem. That's an issue. You can't just say, "Oh, your reaction time's too high. You're out of the competition."
Yeah.
Like, you're too quick. Get out. You can't say
Have they
that
set the price
because
for this?
No.
I'm trying to look, but
I think it's going to be extortionate. But yeah, Nintendo really had a really good showing for it. Metro, Dread, Metro,
Metroid.
Metroid,
Metro.
Yet again,
Metroid Dread.
yet again,
Toys.
they teased Metroid Prime 4
They
and
did.
show nothing for it.
I know, but I'm happy to just have some Metroid content, but
Yeah.
I love the fact that it harkens back because that means that kind of classic. Pokefan will talk to this because he's really good when it comes to like Metroid. It's that kind of the side-scrolling timeline is going to end when it comes to Dread, so it's going to be a nice thing, and I want to see how they resolve that. But the biggest thing for me personally, bigger than Breath of the Wild, was the announcement of the remastered Advance Wars 1 and 2. I am a massive Advance Wars fan. And to see, obviously, these games from like the early 2000s, have proper 3D graphics now, and just to see, the 3D models for the characters.
I think Ross lost it when he saw that as well.
Honestly, I don't blame him. It's an amazing turn-based series, and I just want more from it. But the fact that they've remastered this gives me hope that another Advance Wars can come out in the future, because graphically it looks very good.
It did look very cool.
It looks so polished and clean.
I didn't play Advance War, but it did look, for people who
it's a
like
nice
those
little
games.
opening, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
Definitely.
we're not sure if we have like the financial capability or like the go ahead to like completely do a sequel or what, or, continue the franchise, but we can do the remaster and then we can go from there. I
Yeah,
like
ground
that
up.
at least,
It's
and
a
especially
ground up
obviously,
remaster.
yeah,
It's
even
really
better.
good. Really,
Um,
really good.
I checked on the website, by the way, for this Neuro controller.
Uh-huh.
It's only £100,
Oh wow,
and
that's
that was
actually
the
surprisingly
Indiegogo
cheap.
exclusive. Yeah,
Oh,
That
is it?
doesn't sound right.
no,
No, it
Yeah.
does
the
not.
gamer pack was 124. Only 8 claimed though, so we'll
Huh.
Mm.
Only 8 with an E3
We shall
conference.
see.
Let's
I want to see
Yeah.
a review of this big time and someone actively using it because, I mean, someone's going to sit there and just be like, oh, this is the future of gaming. No, it's not. No,
No,
it's just
it
not
won't
going to
be.
work because you see, to me, that removes the element of skill to a game.
Oh yeah, you'll get
Like-
used to it, wouldn't you?
How fun does that make it? Because like clutching in Valorant, for example, it feels amazing because obviously that's you. But if you've literally
Yeah.
got an aimbot, not an aimbot, but like a cheating machine on your hand to just beat someone to the punch, where's that fun in that?
It's
Because
fake. It's
fake, it's-
literally cheating.
It's artificial and
Yeah.
it's very cheap. I don't see that going anywhere, but there are going to be people are going to use it, and I just don't get it. I don't understand who is really going to buy this. It's
Yeah.
just people who just want to sweat
Yeah.
even harder because they're just not that good.
It's
I
like
guarantee
know.
some toxic people are going to be like, "Ha, I'm better than you."
the people
Oh,
who
yeah,
post like
definitely.
screenshots on
Meanwhile,
Facebook,
he's
like,
got
oh
his
yeah,
glove on, his special glove.
Yeah.
I got to this rank. Oh, how did you do it? Not telling.
It's going to
Gloves
jeopardize a
melting off.
lot of people's clips. Everybody's going to be in the comment like cheating glove. I'm not watching
Cheating
you
glove,
anymore.
cheating glove.
Exactly.
Take the
Cheating
You got
gloves
glove.
off.
cheating glove, yeah. He's not aimbotting. You got the cheating glove on. He's got the. Do you see? Yeah. You've seen
Like the
Raging at
opposite of
War. He's got the cheating
purification.
glove.
Damn, bro, you got that neuro glove.
You got the cheating glove. Yeah. Nah. I just. It takes all the fun out of a game.
Yeah.
What
But yeah,
kind of topics
give me
have we got left?
Nintendo, please give me Advance Wars sequel. Give me a new game.
Sign
Don't do it.
Jordan. We've gone through. I mean
Oh,
that
really?
last point. Then that was the entire E3 show. But obviously we can
There
jump
is
back to
One
our
more game I
favourites and
wanted to
stuff.
talk to from Wholesome
Go
Direct.
ahead.
Right. There was this game and it looks so unbelievably cute. It's called Little Witch in the Woods and it looks like kind of a Stardew Valley, but from the perspective of a little witch called Ellie. Hey, I'm Ellie. Hi. I'm not a witch, but hi. And it looks so cute. It's like you go around, you collect materials for potions instead of like food and stuff and like farming. It looks so cute, unbelievably cute, and everyone's
Are
been
you
talking about
a
this.
little witch in the woods by any chance?
No, I am just an animation that you see on your screen.
Damn it! So close.
A
So
witch
close.
animation?
You tried, Tom.
Halloween. That's the Halloween special right there.
Definitely.
It's so unbelievably
What-
cute though.
What season will that be?
That'll be season 4. I'm gonna go off. Very terrible maths right there.
Am I missing something? Did I miss a joke?
No, we're just gonna keep the podcast going till season 4.
Till
Gonna
season
get
And-
4.
and you best be ready.
This is the end of season 1.
This is the end of season. This
Almost,
is a
yeah.
finale,
Oh
guys.
right, this is the
No,
finale
which is
for the
why-
podcast.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
why we're doing it
Big
live.
finale.
Why we're doing.
Hello, you can
Faces.
actually see us.
Face
Yeah.
cams. Probably
Yeah.
won't happen again.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Take it in.
I'm
Take it
just
all
waiting
in.
for
Season-
I
Take
can't
it
wait for the
all
comments
in.
on YouTube. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually look like that.
Comments on YouTube like, why is Jack wearing the same shirt in every video?
Oh no, Jack, you can't out yourself.
No,
Now people
No.
are gonna check.
you see, oh yeah, that's it's continuity though. I admire that at least.
Yeah.
We all did.
You're like a
We did all of
cartoon
this on the
character.
same day. Nothing's
Behind the
changed.
curtains of Adamo.
Adamo After Dark. I love it. No.
I wanna bring up 2 games that sort of piqued my interest because they're not really games that I play constantly, but if they're fun, then I will. One of them being the new Forza Horizon.
Oh my god.
Oh my God,
Forza
it looks
Horizon 4
beautiful.
now
Very nice.
looks incredible, so I can't
Looks good.
imagine what 5 looks like. Like I
Yeah.
tuned in and they were saying like they were able to take like so many photos of like rocks and stuff. and I was like, "Oh, cool, we're looking at Google Maps," and then it just transferred.
Oh
the
yeah,
gameplay.
they bait and switch you every
They-
time.
they
like, Harry and I
showed
were
us-
making jokes
Clever.
about it.
They
was
showed us a
like-
vista of this volcano, and it was like, oh yeah, great, they're showing us a volcano, and then it was the game.
Yeah,
It was the game.
Yep.
It looks incredible.
Impressed. Very impressed. to be honest.
Because
That
that has a lot. Like
gonna
that's
need a
just
gaming wheel.
racing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No,
we're gonna need an Adamo team, full rigs out.
Full
know,
rigs.
With the wheels. and
Rigs out for the
16
lads.
monitors.
Get me on
Virtual
the
pit
drift
crew.
team. Please
Yeah.
get me on the drift team. I'm so ready for that. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Forza
Yeah.
Horizon 5 looks insane. Another Game Pass day one.
And
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
have you not-
It's
have
too
you-
good.
Have you all got the message? You should really
Yeah.
buy Game Pass. Again, we're not
It's really-
sponsored, but it's for your sake of your wallet. Buy Game Pass, please.
Yeah, out of all the subscription bases, it is by far the best.
Exactly.
There's no question about it. I mean, Ubisoft charged these £13 for theirs, and it's just Ubisoft games.
Mm.
But
Game Pass is Xbox games with some other like third party and EA Play. Is it
Exactly.
EA Access?
is that yeah?
One more
Yeah,
big one.
You play. It's the Ubisoft
Same
one, right?
plan.
Oh,
If you
yeah,
can
yeah.
get, if you play
Yeah,
it,
they
becomes the
changed-
Game
they
Pass
changed the
money.
They recently changed it all. It's like Ubisoft Connect now. Because they're connecting with no one apparently.
Ah,
Um, weirdly enough, speaking of Ubisoft, there was one. I don't know if anyone saw that. It's called Riders Republic.
Yes.
It's
Oh
essentially
my god,
like,
that was a
Epic.
big one for Harry and I.
yeah,
Oh,
it's like a weird
It's
sequel
an
to Steep,
MMO.
but not Steep.
it's an MMO downhill like mountain biking game.
what the heck?
It's an MMO, really?
It's an MMO, yeah.
That sounds so weird.
It does
It
sound
does, but-
interesting.
How does that work?
It's,
Well,
it's just
you have like mountain biking, but you also have like snowboarding.
and
it's all-
jetpacking.
So that's why I always refer to it as Steep. But it looked fun. That's like
does.
that's what got me.
Yeah, and
Like,
yeah,
in a
it's,
game where we're missing skate form, we're missing all these like SSX. That will kind of like fill the
Yeah.
gap. Along with
Riders
the-
Republic
the bird
was
one.
insane. Yeah, there was there's like you can play it in first person as well.
Really? I didn't even
You
see
can you
that.
can play it in first
my.
person.
It made me want to feel like I felt sick because you were going down this trail on a mountain bike and it's in first person. I was like, bloody
Oh.
hell. So they're gonna eventually, like in a year's time, bring out VR for this. And I'm like, oh
I
my
was
God,
literally just thinking that.
Yeah.
so
But,
many
like,
people are gonna be ill.
And then they've really like shown it off when they shown like you can ride with so many different people because it's just I think it's just an open server. Like you can play it by yourself, but you can play with friends as well.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can just play with an open server and just go crazy on some tracks with like they showed like I think it was like 10, 15 people doing this
Yeah,
one.
if they
downhill
if they've
track.
learned from Steep and improved on that, I know it's not the same game, but it technically is. Then I'll be happy because Steep was really fun. It just lacked a lot of content.
My thought about this game, right, this Republic, is how long is it going to be fun before it gets boring? How are they going to make it
Yeah, I
interesting and
don't
make you
know.
want to keep
I
playing?
don't know because
It's an interesting question.
like the way I see it, this is the way I see it is my brother goes to like cycling track like down like mountain biking tracks. He does the same tracks over and over again and he has a great time doing it. So I assume it's all about doing these like I guess it's like doing these same tracks, seeing how quick you could do the tracks, if you beat your times doing it, finding new and different ways to get about these tracks. I guess it's going to be something like that.
Mhm.
I think
find
the
out,
social
September
aspect-
2nd.
The social aspect will keep you around, being able to.
Definitely.
If
With the
one of your
MMO.
mates is cycling down a hill and you're,
Yeah.
jetpacking, gonna fly into him or something, that'll keep
Go
you around
grief your
for a bit.
mate.
Yeah,
that's true.
precisely.
Or just
Guys.
punch him off like SSX Tricky back in
Yeah.
the day.
Oh,
But guys, I think because we're getting nearer and nearer, closer to time.
There we go.
Let's answer the big
question.
question:
The
Is
question.
E3 relevant?
Yes.
in
Right,
2021?
I think
should we
so.
go round? Because I'm sure everybody's got a take for
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah. Let's go around.
Sure.
We'll go. Who's top left?
I'm top
I'm looking
left.
at a different thing. Well,
Yeah.
do you want to start? I don't want to put it all on you.
I
apologize.
really think that E3 is worth it. I think that E3 is the big event that everyone's coming to. We hear all of the news, all of the huge news. Nothing really gets saved for like Christmas time. all of the big news for the year comes out right now, like kind of in the middle, kind of start of the year, when things really get spicy, when like after the tax has all been sorted out. This is when everything really gets going. And I like E3. I think it's entertaining. I think a lot of the things could be more entertaining, maybe not quite as boring as some of the ones that we watched this year. But I think when it comes back to being live events, maybe we'll be able to see a lot more, because with this online only, it's been very limited. Hydration check, chew, poker fan. Make sure everyone's drinking their water and sitting up straight.
Never.
I'm not doing either. I will wait and get a drink in a minute.
All day, every day.
But I will
love it.
rehydrate after the stream.
Yeah, but those are my thoughts. I think that once it's a lot less limited and things can be in physical events, we'll see a lot more from E3 in the future.
Yeah.
Let's try top right. Let's go.
That's me. Well, right, E3. I remember like when E3 was like the only big like game announcement thing of the year. It was like Christmas for gamers. It still is like Christmas for gamers.
Really is.
The one that really stood out was when my Xbox dropped the announcement for Halo C anniversary, and just how excited everyone was for that.
Yeah.
And it always stick with me as such a big part of E3. And there was no other event in that time where I would do anything like that. But now we've got big events such as like the Game Awards, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show. Like these are all big events that especially Tokyo Game Show, where all the Japanese developers go to, and they'll just announce all their big games. Gamescom is one of the biggest game shows, like open to the public. Because E3 is not it wasn't a public game show, but it is now. But Gamescom's like one of the biggest, and they drop. I assume PlayStation will have a presence there because they usually do. They'll drop some big things, but I don't know. E3 should take a step back. I think it has been taking a step back, and it's letting these other shows take some of spreading out like the limelight, so everyone doesn't converge on this one point every year. It's spread out, so you've got something to. So gamers still have something to look forward to. So I think it's more of a less of a big event. It's more of a smaller event that can spread out across the year with different other events.
Yeah, I get that. It's I like how you had like a one moment where like what E3 was for you.
Yeah. No, that that it was just such a big thing. I was sitting there, I was watching it, and like my brothers, like all my older brothers played Halo like excessively. I remember watching them play it when I was younger, and I was sitting there and I was watching it with my brother. I was like, oh my god, Halo, like Combat Evolved's getting a complete remaster. And it was just really exciting. And the whole switching between the classic and the new graphics was so cool. And it was such a big thing. And then dropping Halo 4 that same year was insane. But that's what really sunk in for me how big this show was.
They were good remasters too.
They were. Halo C was really, really good.
Mom says it's my turn on the Xbox.
Do you want to say your points, George?
Yeah, no, I can jump in on this. Well, obviously I was the one who brought up this question. And to be fair, it's a question that you do basically see every year. When A3 pops up, people always ask this question: are shows like these relevant in the modern time? They were relevant a decade ago, 100%. But are they relevant now? I mean, the reason for me this question is so important is because this E3 shows that how much they can do, in a more digital capacity, rather than having to sell out arenas and and there's always the embarrassing stuff that you have these 2,000, 3,000 big arenas and they're struggling to get the numbers in to actually like fill these stadiums. And there's tons of memes about that, especially like Bethesda conferences in the past. Um, personally speaking, I do feel like they are relevant, but they need to maintain their relevance
Yeah.
and look about what they can do. Because I mean, from a developer point of view, some of them, like Nintendo and Xbox, can sit back and say, "Do you know what? We did all right." But honestly, when I look at Ubisoft, I look at PC Game Show, and Capcom, I mean, can they seriously say that what they did and what they shown, shown, can they really say that, that's going to draw them in? Because, it just didn't seem interesting to me. And it was a real disappointment because obviously I'm from the writing side of the team for Adamo. And, we were watching these shows and obviously writing our articles. You should read our articles, by the way. They're very informative. And I watched all of these shows and I was surprised to see, the dip in quality in games, especially from Capcom and stuff like that. But again, to target the question a bit more closely, they definitely are relevant. I just feel like they need to adapt a bit more to modern times and really maintain their relevance through, maybe some different settings or maybe leaning in a certain way and having
Yeah.
a greater theme across E3. But yeah, I think they are relevant, but there definitely needs to be some changes to maintain that relevance.
Sweet. Yeah. Guys, we're hitting some really nice points here.
Definitely. You gotta love it.
Have we got Brooke?
Yeah, go on, Brooke.
Bloody hell! Everyone seems to have covered everything.
Bloody hell.
I don't know really what to say. So I get all my information about new games and everything from E3, and I just can't see where the hell I'm going to get the information from. So
Get it from Adamo.
yes, definitely.
The Adamo press conference. Can you imagine? Oh, we'll get there one day.
Adamo 3? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is literally all I've got to say on the matter. Is I get my information from from all the new releases of the games from E3, and I can't see of getting it elsewhere. Yeah, apart from Adamo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not if, but
And-
when.
Yeah. And last but not least, Harry, what's your take?
E3's relevance, the gaming conference's relevance, will track with the gaming market. It will keep growing, and with the diversity that is coming with the new game shows that are popping up to challenge E3, as the saying goes, competition breeds innovation. And that will essentially lead to keeping these games conferences relevant, because if you've got your competitor that's announcing all these games before you, well, you've got to come up with something better to make people tune in.
Yeah.
And so from that will ensure that the industry around marketing games conferences, it will have to keep moving, because everybody understands now that the gaming market is not going anywhere, especially with COVID. Everybody has gravitated towards finding that one thing to do, and for a lot of people it's been gaming. So in my opinion, the relevance is going to stay, and with the more gamers that come through and with the more conferences that pop up, we'll just get bigger and bigger.
Smashed it there, haven't you, really?
That was a really good take. I like that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very nice.
Thanks,
Perfect.
guys. I appreciate you
There were
all.
some big words.
And only a minute to
Appreciate you.
spare.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
We've got
mate.
seconds.
I agree. Kind of with what everyone's point is. Like, yeah, it's changed over the last 5 years and stuff, and it might not seem as good. But I still get excited when E3 comes around, because I even though I know it's not going to happen, I always assume that everything's going to be announced in this like 3 or 4 day weekend. But it's still it'll be so weird if they just went, right, we're just going to stop now, because then all the other sort of like shows that Jack mentioned earlier, that they're just going to have like so many more people tuning into them. Whenever you talk about like gaming showcases and like the biggest gaming events, E3 will always be in that sentence, in that conversation. I do agree with Jord and saying that they do need to sort of like adjust it. I don't know, more specifically towards who's been announced at E3. You know, like Capcom, just take the weekend off. Just think about what you're doing. Like, it's your entire company. It's like, yeah, I understand that you want to obviously show whatever you're working on, even if it is unreleased and unannounced DLC. But at the end of the day, you want to like make your fans and audience proud, and you know what you're going to need to do for that, and not just like give a few slideshows and go, right, yeah, well, you know, maybe it's going to come, maybe not. You know, are you going to be excited? No. But at the end of the day, just don't be Square Enix. You know, just if just think about what you're doing, really.
To be fair, and in latter years, like previous years, Bethesda was becoming that company as well.
Oh god, no.
They were rocking up, and they're just like, oh yeah, Skyrim's coming out again.
Oh yeah.
Like Microsoft, to be
you're
fair,
gonna love it.
Microsoft are gonna, really rein them in, I think.
Yeah,
But
no more Skyrim.
No, well, I can't wait to play it on my microwave. Honestly, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, on a Xbox fridge.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
Xbox
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Don't try me.
everything.
Try me.
I've said it again. We need an
So-
Adamo branded mini fridge.
We
We're
do.
a little bit
I want
over
it.
time, I think.
They all
It's
have
time
a
for
little
closing
bit.
statements.
Something to say.
Right.
But that was E3 2021. Quickly overall, did you guys enjoy it?
I did. I
I
had a great
love
time.
being on.
I did.
Obviously, it was very
lovely.
different, yeah, to actually be
games.
working for it and stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like there's watching it, but then there's like
Being part of the machine.
being part
Yeah.
being part of like the news outlets for it. Like we are a news outlet for E3, which
I
is
know.
insane to even think about. And I've been like messaging my friends like I'm working E3, and I'm like I have a little like reality check. I was like, oh my god, I'm working E3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Well,
a
we've
message
just
to
done
the
roundup.
people on YouTube: if you've watched all the way through, all the way to the end right now, huge round of applause. It means so much. It really gets us out there on that algorithm. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, anything. We love you guys.
You took my job for me. I mean, look at
I was
this.
gonna say, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in and stuff. This is now officially season 1 of the AGT podcast done.
Boom.
Stay tuned for season 2. We're going to have new people on, as well as our amazing host, Ant, is going to be back. We may or may not have face cams constantly. We're going to have new graphics, new topics, all that. So we hope you enjoyed our sort of roundup of E3. And just like Eliza said, check out all our social media and stuff, including the YouTube. Check out the articles, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone,
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
I'm a scientist.